Hey, what is up, everybody? So this is kind of a follow-up to the video I put out last week, in which I was shadow banned and kicked from the Fusion Discord, in a kind of rush decision without, being ever given a time frame, for when the response was needed. In this past week, a lot has been discovered, brought forward through my own, communications with people, close to close to everything that's been happening, as well as some admission from the accusers themselves to actually doing the things that I'm going to be highlighting in just a minute. So, to catch everybody up, I made a post on this on my channel the other day while I was on the train, just to kind of give an update. I know there's, not a whole lot of people that, are following along, but I figured the people that are kind of would want an update. Waking up to that was, a little jarring, not seeing it coming. And, yeah, it was, kind of hit me in my emotions a little bit, for sure. There was a lot of emotions, going on, but feeling betrayed. Not really knowing, not really thinking that I could trust some of the people that were involved with everything. There was a lot, and the moment that I kind of apparently, as I understand it, the individual that came to me and just sent me in my DMs, quote, sorry, comma, man, period, end quote. My first response was, sorry for what? And then I went and looked, and I kind of pulled the site up and noticed that I did not have the Fusion Discord there. And I kind of went, wow, I can't believe that they've actually banned me. Like, they've kicked me out of the thing, and I believe I was informed that I was banned. From that point, I wrote a long Twitter post. I think it was like 17 tweets long, and just voicing my displeasure and my confusion on the matter, seeing as how this came out of left field. There was, no kind of reason for it. There was no indication that, this was even coming. The admins even stated that they wanted to take their time on this. They told me to take as much time as I need, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a 72-page document that I was handed, with a lot of footage and a lot of things to review, a lot of things that I had to go back over, and my life at the time was very hectic. I wrote in my own personal Discord, which is a private Discord, and I make that distinction that it is private. And that'll come into play a little bit down the line of this tale. I told them, I let them know, hey, I just found out that I was essentially shadow banned from the Fusion community Discord. And I went to proceed to record what I did. And while I was recording, I believe it happened during my hour, whatever, recording. People who are in the Fusion community took it upon themselves to not only speak up regarding the handling of the situation and the injustice that they all felt, but they shared the document to the entire Discord. So everybody in the community had a chance to finally read the document. And the sense that I get, and that I have gotten from reading back on the entire discussion, is that a large majority of the people see this as a character assassination attempt, and there are multiple people that are now going through the races that are analyzed in the tournament independently to do their own sort of kind of investigation alongside what I'm doing. There are a lot of things that are being unearthed in the document as well, of things that simply don't happen. There's really no other way that I can describe it. There are instances in this document where it is alleged that something happens, and on a video with audio recording, it is very easily verifiable whether or not something was said. And what not only myself that I have found, but other people are finding, is that the document is alleging things are being said by commentary or saying things have happened, and it's either incorrect or it just simply never happened. And, you know, it's, you know, it is what it is. But I did not rejoin. So after the first day of everybody kind of voicing their displeasure and kind of going back and forth in the Discord, and it seems like a lot of the only people right now that are kind of in support of everything are people that MetroidMST or Shy Guy Express or Shy Guy or however you want to, whatever he goes by, he, they, them, it appears that the people that are supporting and encouraging the documentation are those that he is close with. He, they, them. They're close with. I'll just go with they because I, don't want to risk offending anybody. They are they're people that watch them, and they are people that watch them, and meaning Shy Guy or MetroidMST, or I'll go prefer as MST from now on. And there are some people who are kind of neutral on it, that see it from both ways. Kind of see it from both ways. They can see what the document is alleging, but they have not gone through to actually confirm it. And the problem that I've pointed out is that if people are going to be making a determination about whether or not I cheated in a tournament that their community is not involved with, the likelihood of said admins or individuals reviewing the case actually going back to verify the facts of what's being alleged in these kind of cliff notes are, in my opinion, likely very low, and will most likely take the cliff notes at face value. So it's a situation where somebody has written a 72-page document in which they have included a lot of fluff. It feels like a lot of fluff. And not even facts, just they not many. They've included things in the documents that don't happen. A commentator saying that this was a lucky play when you can go and watch the video and it won't be said, or saying that I've answered questions, that I have difficulty answering some questions when the question was never asked. So it's framed in a way that Herc is, when Herc is confronted with this, he doesn't know how to answer. And the problem is it was never asked to begin with. So, and I've got the document. We'll go through that as well. But what I've unearthed in the past week is my accusers, referring to MetroidMST and Kazuto, Kazuto, decided to write a document, I believe on May the 9th. I believe the document states May the 9th. That is separate to the 72-page document in which everything is alleged. And they proceed to try to reaffirm their stance for some reason, as well as threatening, gaslighting, blackmailing the Fusion admins into making a rushed decision on a time frame that they are now setting. So let me reiterate, my accusers are now setting the deadline through use of threats, blackmail, and just, gaslighting the admins and into making a rushed decision without giving me an opportunity to ever make any sort of counterclaim and any... Or what are you doing down there? That dog is crazy. She's gonna crawl under there probably and bark at me now. There she goes. What are you doing, girl? What are you doing? Cora, what are you doing? Love you. Sorry, lost my train of thought by the dog being a little stinker. And look at that little stinker. So they're now trying to dictate the process and not letting the admins do the thorough job that they want to do and allow me to provide counter evidence. And even the admins now, I believe some of them that I've been in communication with have said that, looking back on it, I can't help but feel that I was used. That is a direct quote. That let me pull up the direct quote. I won't attribute it to which one specifically because I don't want to call out anybody and share secrets out of school, but I feel this is something that, I've asked for permission to share the DMs, and they've given me their approval, and I don't want to kind of out anybody, but hey baby, what you doing down there, huh? She's gonna be making a whole mess of noise now. Just use search. Make it faster. Okay, I found it. Quote, for what it's worth, he, well, actually, let me read the thing. I want to share it with the staff members. Okay. I believe what is asked from myself is, and I quote, I also didn't understand why I couldn't share the doc to my Discord when he was allegedly and could spread this document to whomever he wished. Hey, what are you doing down there, you little goofball? What do you want? Response was, quote, that was, to my knowledge, only ever shared with staff members, parentheses, open parentheses, Fusion, comma, and other communities, close parentheses. When Cosmic said that some of the contents were discussed in a public channel, that was the first time I had ever heard of it. MST sometime later messaged me saying I could join his server to verify that, to which I told him that it's not me that he needs to convince of that. If he wants people to know for sure that people were or were not discussing the contents of the document in his public server, then he needed to invite them, because I feel that me going in there, making any verification and relaying the info probably wouldn't be trusted anyway. For what it's worth, he's been watching the public outcry / discussion in the Fusion Discord. He just hasn't said anything on it, though Kaz has made a few comments. I don't know if he ever reached out to anyone to extend that verification offer, though. I didn't ask. Honestly, the more I see people talk about it, the more I can't help but feel like maybe I really was used. That is a end quote. That is a direct statement from one of the Fusion administrators. And reading that, my heart kind of broke, because I felt so bad. And this was after they sent me a document that, I asked them, how, because I got the feeling that everything that was said, because it wasn't said in the staff discussion channel where all of the admins were, and my accusers and myself and some of the tourney admins were, where we were to have an open discussion about this, or where I could present my counter evidence. Every time I would talk in that channel, though, I would be barked down, basically, by MetroidMST. He would basically drown out everything I said with these text walls. And it got to the point where I said, okay, because I can't get a word in edgewise here and I'm constantly being attacked for the most part, I'm going to be not responding here immediately anymore. And I will respond when I have put together all the evidence. And that was kind of how it laid for a bit. I believe Clueless stated on the May 2nd, believe it was May 2nd, that he would be traveling and wouldn't be able to be reached, and to which I responded that I haven't had time, and I'll go and I'll quote exactly directly what I said. Where is it? It should be right here. So Clue said, quote, just a heads up, I will have limited availability this weekend, will likely be slow to respond to anything on May the 3rd. I responded not too long after, quote, I've been busy these past 2 weeks with work and travel. I think I've got some time this weekend to work through some of this, but working this into my schedule has been a challenge as of late, which is fair. I work full time. I'm gonna have to get a little bit more personal when we go through this document that was shared with me. But my time is it's booked pretty solid, and having to work a lot of this in this past week has been mentally stressing, especially because it's been a distraction from work in some instances, and all this takes time, really. So yeah, so this document that I was sent was called deadline.pdf. However, there is on this document, though, I guess the original document that was sent to the admins, which they have shared with me, the document is called Fusion admin script. So, and that's a direct quote. Quote, Fusion admin script. I'm not sure why you would call it a script. It honestly seems very shady. But another thing to keep in mind is that MetroidMST has casually admitted that he basically threatened the admins into making a rush decision, and we're gonna go through this document right now, actually. So let me make sure I've got the right thing up. Is it this one? That's not it. Okay. There's a lot of personal stuff in here that makes me a little uncomfortable. However, it is what it is. And, you know, there are a lot of claims and accusations that are being hurled my way that are not true. So let's get started. I'm just making this hopefully fairly quick little doc because this situation needs to be moving forward and is not not stagnating because of Herc's inaction. I'm going to try to cover a very limited scope of items here to keep it short while hopefully getting the point across. This is a 7-page document. 7 pages. I'm not sure why, but this is a 7-page document, and everything that's already been they have already accused me at this point, both MST and Kazuto. The accusations are already out there. I don't know why this script was needed. I'm going to explain how to investigate cheating in a rando properly. Oh, okay. So there was the announcement that was made insinuated, and if you follow me on Twitter, I've called this out. The announcement that was made immediately after, and I will quote this because I don't have a quick photo of it, I don't think. The quote reads, quote, "We have decided in favor of the accusers with the amount of evidence provided. Hercules bench press has been removed from staff and from the Fusion Discord server. While we as staff members originally held our own investigations, which came up inconclusion." Important, they held their own investigations, which came up inconclusive. "Our discussions with the accusers have shown a lack of knowledge, experience, and understanding in how to properly conduct an investigation into cheating allegations in a randomizer setting, as well as how to properly run a randomizer tournament. We would like to formally apologize to any Metroid Fusion Randomizer 2021 tournament participants that felt personally targeted by any tournament administrator decisions, some of which in hindsight were completely out of line with what a tournament it says of what a tournament I assume it meant to say out of line with what a tournament administrator should have power over. Let me reiterate. Quote, "While we as staff members originally held our own investigations, which came up inconclusive, our discussions with the accusers have shown a lack of knowledge, experience, and understanding in how to properly conduct an investigation into cheating allegations in a randomizer setting." End quote. That is, to me, the way that reads is, we did our own investigation. We did not find any evidence of what is being alleged. However, when we talked with the accusers, they told us what to look for and how to read the document, basically. So the accusers instructed them from taken at face value and what is literally explained in this document. I'm going to explain how to investigate cheating in a rando properly. It is not the duty of the accusers to instruct the people passing judgment how to read the document. Their evidence needs to be presented in such a way that leaves little doubt to it actually happening. However, there's clearly a significant amount of doubt that they want to see what counter evidence I can provide, and if their initial investigations have come up inconclusive, they can't confirm it because they couldn't find anything. That should speak like that right there. Getting worked up. Sorry, give me a second. Forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I don't get the impression that as a group you understand this and how blatant the cheating was. I feel like the more you try to say how blatant it was, it doesn't mean it's going to speak it into existence. But by doing this, you're trying to they are trying to reaffirm that, oh no, what I'm saying is correct. This and this is so completely obvious. I don't know how you don't see it, is basically what it's saying. When doing an investigation, a single race is never going to prove anything one way or the other. Sure, yeah, okay. Things can look extremely suspect and still be completely legitimate. It's a randomizer after all. In rando races, you will find markers of stream sniping in nearly every race. You don't say. That sounds like the argument that I was making. The same exact argument that I made, in that it's a randomizer. It's not meant to be played the same way every time. And the fact that Fusion is so limited in scope, there's only so many places to go. It's not like a Legend of Zelda randomizer where there's like 9 different dungeons, a bunch of items in the overworld, and things to do. It's 116 items. 116 items. That's it. Scattered across main deck and 6 sectors. That's it. 116. And you can check these all very quickly. A lot of checks can be done. That's why randomizer seeds can be done in like an hour, because the checks are really fast. But okay. This is all things that I said in the document. This is all things that I've said, that I stated and was barked down on. That's normal and to be expected. I'd hope so. And then a single race, anyone can say they just made a gamble and you can't prove otherwise in a single instance. It's randomizer. Every check is a gamble. Everything you're doing is a gamble. You're basically trying to weigh the odds of doing something that seems logical or not. Whether or not to go someplace with more checks or to go to someplace with less checks, just to kind of like, it depends on the situation in all instances. What is a problem is when a single player consistently hits a high number of markers. Please explain those markers. Which markers are we talking about? Are we talking about the worst room in the game and the green doors on main deck, the ones that are and West Speed Booster room, the only 3 that are referenced throughout this entire document? The only 3 that are being used really to point to these allegations, to try to prove a point, and that aren't even consistent in the allegations. Okay. If a player tries to make that claim across multiple races, the result of races speak for themselves. It's a randomizer. People aren't going to make the correct decision 100% of the time. You're right. That's why you see people go into sectors sometimes they find nothing. It's just how it is. First, what do we know Herc for doing? He's already confirmed to everyone he didn't meta his opponents. He says he, quote, may have seen patterns in the spoiler logs. Yeah, and that's fair. With the amount of spoiler logs I needed to review, you kind of start to go, oh, that I kind of am seeing that spot in a lot of different spoiler logs. So, it kind of seems to suggest like, oh, maybe this spot has more items, or, man, that's, you see a spot like I've never seen an item put there, such as worst room in the game. Worst room in the game, I think in version 0.9. I don't even know if I can it's less than 5. I've definitely seen that room have a major item less than 5 times. It may even be less than 3 times. I think I can only remember one specific time that I remember seeing an item in worst room in the game, which is the snail hallway. In version 0.9, it was extremely unlikely to have a major item there. So skipping it could just be, a gamble. And there are other items that I skip all the time that are not called out in these documents. I can't remember. I don't know the exact designation of this of the item location, but it's the one referred to as Crab Battle. which is the check in the invisible wall tunnel directly to the right of lower sector 4 doors. I think I forgot about that item location. I forgot about that location a lot in the course of the tournament. There are times when I've been going back and reviewing, I get sector 4 doors if I'm not in go mode, and I just go back up and out, and I'm like, why didn't I just completely forgot the item. It's so easy in the middle of, and there are plenty of people that actually do randomizer, and especially for Fusion, to balance in mentally on your head, what do I have? What's open to me with these items? Can I check these items? No, I can't. Okay, what's open to me? What items can I check? What items have I checked? What is this now open for me? Stuff like that. And with doing races back to back, it's very easy to get overlap. It happened to me a lot during the tournament where my memory would kind of overlap. And there was one specific instance, I think this was in the tournament. It may have been a GDQ hotfix where I was doing a seed and it was back to back, and the seed prior I had checked lower sector 2. In the next seed, I was playing through it, and after leaving the initial visit to sector 2, I didn't go back and was operating under the assumption. I was like, when I was thinking back, I was in sector 2 and I was like, I've cleaned that all out. In my mind, I was thinking, oh, I've already cleaned out sector 2, thinking of the seed prior. So it's very easy, and it's very easy to do that on like back-to-back races where you're playing and you go, oh, I checked that item already. And just not even like thinking about it, or just not thinking about an item because you're doing like mental gymnastics trying to path out what you're gonna do and trying to, play efficiently. So and again, there are probably several people in the Fusion Discord, in the Fusion randomizer, even probably in other randomizers that can attest to, yeah, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you just forget items. And there are times that I'm seeing that I forgot items that my opponents didn't even check, I'm pretty sure. And there's no explanation for that. There's nothing in these documents call out that, well, Herc skips an item here, opponent hasn't checked it yet. It only calls out, oh, Herc only skips these specific ones when his opponent skips it. There are times where I skip plenty of items that my opponent hasn't checked. There was a race against Army where I think the item above Notori and Crumble City items weren't checked, and I completely forgot about those items. And there's nothing said about it's called out that I didn't check those items. Okay, I didn't check them. I forgot about them. I went and did Ripper Tower checks and just completely forgot to check them. It happens, it's not something that, you do consciously. And if you are, you're just hoping that, pardon my language, but fuck, I hope I'm not making a mistake here by, skipping this item. And there's plenty of instances of, especially during the tournament, of players skipping items. I think in one of my races against Autumn, she skips fighting Arachnus. That's a huge gamble, and especially with a missile start. So there are gambles that will happen. I mean, you don't always skip Arachnus. You could do it here and there, but whatever. We'll just continue. We also know he skips Pillar Highway. Confirmed. I hate that check. It 5 bomb blocks, and you have to speed booster in, speed booster out. It's a long check. I'm not a fan of it. Other runners who do meta their opponents also know Herc for one thing: being thorough. I try to be. So when we examine his races, I try to be thorough. And my ability to move through the sectors and try and route efficiently, in my opinion, allows me to get more checks done in a faster time frame. So I believe that I try to be as thorough as I possibly can be. Now, every race is different, every seed is different, so I don't approach it all the same way. So you can sit there and try, and this will get down there, you know, later on, but you know, you can look at what I do casually as a baseline, but that's not really accurate because it's not under race conditions. That's just me goofing off and having fun with the chat. I wouldn't consider anything that's not specifically practice or, you know, a race to be I see that as just being done as entertainment and casually. I don't see that as anything that's establishing it. It can just be, okay, well, that's how I would proceed through the sector just to full clear it out. Whatever. Big deal. There was also a companion document, by the way, that I didn't know about until recently. I didn't observe it, but it goes through. It's a 20-page document that goes over all of my casual runs on my YouTube, and it gives indicators of whether or not I'm stream sniping. I wish I was making that up. That they're literally color coded to indicate whether or not I am stream sniping on my casual seeds. I guess it's used to establish to establish normal things, but it also is used to say, oh, this is good normal routing, even though the colors are like good routing or signs of stream sniping or inefficient routing or not sign of like the red and green contradict each other, so it's hard to read. But it's going to become very apparent that the people that are making these accusations really, they show a lack of knowledge about efficient routing, and that's going to become very apparent in a bit. Okay, let's address this as well. I've confirmed to everyone he doesn't meta his opponents. I did say that. Oh, fact, I did say that. I said I do not meta my opponents. I try not to. The reason that I was not or could not was because with a lot of my opponents, Read Theory, Autumn Out of Habit, Army of One, my first three opponents in the tournament were brand new to the community, and I didn't know much about their preferences. Now, through the tournament and just participating in the Discord chat, I learned about Autumn's penchant or displeasure. Penchant for wanting to skip Saris or displeasure at fighting Saris. So I was aware that Autumn had a habit of not fighting Saris. Really the only thing about Autumn's play that I know about. There's a thing about Army that I knew about prior to me facing him in the tournament. And that was, there are times, this was a strat that I picked up from him and I thought was genius. He would skip. I'm so sorry. Oh, I didn't sleep well last night. He would, when he at times, or I don't even know when specifically, but I noticed that he had a strategy for, he would go and do red doors, and then he would double back up and clear out sector 5 if possible. Give me a second. Sorry, there was a tiny little bug. So I was aware that Army would, or I was aware that Army prior, and this was confirmed, and this is confirmed in an interview after a race with Autumn, in which I make the comment, or he asked, I can't remember the exact exchange after I listened to it, but there's a lot of stuff that's been happening, where either I ask him, I'm like, did you like that, going back to backtrack Sector 5 after unlocking red doors instead of going into Sector 4? And it's something, I acknowledge that it's something that I saw him do, and I thought it was a fantastic play. You can really only make that play when you have Screw Attack. And Screw Attack, that means that allows you to get out and re-enter Sector 5 from the Nightmare area, the underwater section. And it's honestly a really good play, because if you don't clean out Sector 5 at first and you go back, you can clean it out. And the last item you check in 5 is the one that's in the connector tunnel, that's in like the magic box that it's all like a complete square that you have to jump up into it. And that's kind of, and doing that, you're allowed to then take the connector to Sector 6. It's a really strong play where if you double back, you can clear out 5, and then you're right there and can proceed to 6, knowing that you've full cleared 5 at that point. It's a really strong play. And it makes a lot of sense. So I made this, I've acknowledged this prior to facing Army. So the only two things that I know about any of my opponents prior to facing them: Autumn does not fight Ceres, or does not like to fight Ceres. And Army, I don't know if you can say that he likes to do it, but he is the first person that I saw do Sector 5 by entering via red locks. Like that's the only two things. And the reason that I say that I don't meta, or I can't meta my opponents, is I'm not sitting there watching them at all times. Like, I popped in on Army streams occasionally because we're friendly with each other, right? I know about Autumn because she's offered that information publicly. But for Resurrent, someone who I respect unbelievably so, just their knowledge of the game, and their ability to find, out of bounds stuff. And, he kicked my ass in the grand finals. I was very salty that, he did, he clipped to the red lock doors. I was a little salty about that, but, it wasn't banned, and I didn't take the time to learn it, so it's nothing I can, be upset about. And it's just like, it's kind of like, oh man, that's kind of lame, but whatever. I lost, so what? It stings, it sucks, but, he played unbelievably well, and, he deserved to win the entire thing. He's just mad respect to him. Continuing though, I don't know anything about how Lucent plays. I've reviewed some footage in the past prior to our matchup, just due to people saying that, or at least one of the admins claiming that, one of his movements was rather suspicious. And, we kind of were like, what the fuck? Can we go, without, and I believe the suspicious actions, and I'm going to be going back and reviewing all of the races to double check and make sure, but there was a race apparently where he beelines to Nightmare without Gravity Suit, and it just so happens that Gravity Suit was in that area, from what I remember that I was told. And that kind of was a red flag for the administrator member for the tournament that was watching, enough so to bring it up in the admin chat and say, hey, this, or I think it was the admin chat, I can't remember specifically, but it was enough for them to say, hey, this happened, this looked kind of sus, what should we do? Okay, well, let's go back through and let's see if there's any other indicators. And, the admins went and looked. I looked at 1 or 2 races, maybe. I couldn't say for certain, but we'll go back and look again, especially after, all of this was prompted basically from Lenofus and MetroidMST. But I think those are the 5 people that I faced. I think those are the only 5 people that I faced in the tournament. So, you know, not knowing too much about most of my opponents outside of Army did this thing once that I wanted to incorporate and that I thought was a really good play, and Autumn basically publicly stating Saris didn't like, she didn't like fighting Saris. That was it. So it's not that I don't meta my opponents, it's that it would be grossly inadequate and not at all a factual statement for me to sit there and say that, yeah, I absolutely meta my opponents, because I don't sit there and do, I don't study up on my opponents prior to my match. What I know is what I know going in. And I wasn't going to alter my play too much to account for, Autumn not fighting Saris, or, Army doing his Sector 5 backtrack. There was one instance where the Sector 5 backtrack, so far that I've seen, that it actually played, into my thought process, where I enter Sector 5, and I think with how long we've been into the race, given the items that we got and where they were obtainable, the thought process is, well, with how deep we're in, it's very likely that my opponent, Army, has already unlocked red doors, and if so, there could be a high probability that he decided to double back and clear out Sector 5. If he had done that, it's likely that he were to have found the one item that we were, looking for at the time, or the one item that I was looking for. It stands to reason that the race likely would already be over at that point, just based on the amount of time that's passed in the race so far. And I think, in my opinion, that's a completely reasonable thought to have in a race where it's going on a long amount of time, something that your opponent does, and you go, okay, wait, I could waste my time doing all of this to confirm this, but I entered Sector 6 for a reason, and I checked the connector, and I only went to check the data room because I now have space jump and can get out, or I have wave beam, or whatever the case may be, so it's more feasible to check it than it was before. And that's usually one that gets left behind or orphaned or abandoned or whatever. Why not check it? And then in the video, which we'll go through later, I actually go towards Ripper Road, and I'm about to enter lower Sector 5 when I have the thought, if he's probably already done this, and if he's already done this, then the race should be over. So I should stick to clearing out 6. And if it's not there, then I'll come back. And that's just how it is. It's okay. It's trying to make a guess on what my opponent might do. It's a gamble. Yeah, totally. But, up until that point, pretty much everything else had been cleared out except for 5 and 6, for at least on my end. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's doing. So why would I not use the one bit of information available to me that I know about, that something that he can do and he has done in the past? So that's my piece on that. All right. Let's first consider what being thorough means. If a runner isn't going to skip anything and be thorough, they need 2 things: good execution and efficient routing. They aren't going to gain time by skipping items because they aren't going to be gambling. They aren't going to be gaining time by skipping items because they aren't going to be gambling. Well, wrong. That's a false statement. Anytime you would skip an item, you would gain time because you're not spending the time needed to check said item. And that just because you have good execution and efficient routing doesn't exclude you from wanting to gamble on items. Those 2 things, those concepts aren't mutually exclusive. Like that you can't. It's like saying you can only have one of the two. It's in a race situation, yeah, you can gamble on items all the time if you don't feel comfortable. Worst room in the game slash what these documents refer to as snail hallway. I've only seen that be a major item one time. I sometimes I skip it, sometimes I don't. In my casual playthroughs with what's just me and my chat, I'd probably check that one, yeah. Because why not? Who cares? It doesn't matter. In a race situation, time matters. You know, how quick you can be and, you know, making these decisions. And again, sometimes it's just, fuck, I forgot that item. There's like 2 or 3 times I've noticed already that I skipped crab battle and I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Why did I miss that? Or how do I forget that? And I know that there are plenty of times where I've missed that item and I'm going back and it's like the last few items and I'm like, did I check one of these items? And I go into 4 and I open up the map and I'm like, heck, I missed it. Like, I was right there. How did I... Either way, these concepts are not mutually exclusive. You can see how Herc developed his routing efficiency in his YouTube seeds. Yes, you can see that I've played the game a lot. You could also know that I've played the game a lot because I've been in the community for 10 years. Started out by doing maintenance tunnel first, but then quickly shifted to doing green doors first, which carries all the way through until the tournament. Ah, my favorite. The green door. The green doors. All right, let's go over the green doors on main deck. The way that I check those items usually is predicated based on what I do before I go. Sorry, brain fart. What I do before I go up to main deck. If I make a save, then I'm going to check green doors first, maintenance tunnel, then reactor, and then reset out if there's no major. If I don't save, it's more efficient to go maintenance tunnel, reactor, double back and do green doors, and because you have to go back that way anyway to get to the elevator, unless you have space jump and the means to get to backdoor into sector 2, which comes up in a race. Surprise, yeah, shockingly enough, if you could believe it. So yes, but prior to the tournament, when the randomizer first came out, I may have been routing differently. Why? Oh, well, let's see. We only just got it, and we're still trying to figure out the most efficient way to check items. So, yeah, things will change, especially in a tournament where the thing's only been out for 2 months. That's another huge thing. The randomizer at this point had only been out for 2 months prior to the start of this tournament. So the meta is still forming, and we're still trying to determine, maybe on an independent basis, but we're kind of learning off of each other in a way of the most efficient way to route something, and to route items in when doing a randomizer. So if you have to double back, yeah, green doors makes, at least it makes sense. It made sense to me, and I think a few other people that do that on the way out, since we're going to double back anyway. If you've got a speed booster through those rooms, go check maintenance tunnel or go start at reactor and then check maintenance tunnel and then that, which I don't think I ever did. I think I checked maintenance tunnel first because maintenance tunnel in and of itself is a location that is a very high probability, especially when you have power bombs, to hold a major item. So it always benefits you to check that first. Reactor is another location that also tends to have, it's in that middle ground where it could have a major item, and I've seen it be a major item there plenty of times. More so than the items at the green doors. Now, the timing and context is also very important. There are times where I go to check the main deck where I don't have power bombs and I can only do green doors. So yes, I will do green doors first. I've noticed that this document does not make a very specific distinction, or the 72-page document for that matter, from what I've read, does not make a distinction upon whether or not, when I check main deck and do green doors first, if I have power bombs, to then check maintenance tunnel. It's listed under Herc checks green doors first. And that is to like build the case that, oh, well, Herc is doing things differently in different seeds. So stream sniping, and that's not always the case. It's context is extremely important in a lot of these races, and especially with a lot of the things that are being alleged. Second, he doesn't meta his opponents. This is his own. This is his own statement, so we can say his decisions aren't being influenced by who he's running against. But I just explained to you that that's not the case because I know two things by not one having watched it and witnessed it one time when I raided it Army. I think it was when I raided him, and then when talking and while looking at the public discussion that Autumn doesn't do Saris. I don't even think looking at Saris came into play. It might have, but I think at that time I was on the Boss Rush World Tour, so I don't know if that really counts. But those are the only two things that I really know about any of my opponents and their preferences. Third is he sort of half makes the claim reviewing spoiler log information informed his decision. Hang on. What did he say earlier? He says he may have seen patterns in spoiler logs. Third is he sort of half makes the claim reviewing spoiler logs informed his decisions. Which one is it? Can we get a determination? Did I may have seen patterns, or did I half claim that? Because you're quoting something in one of them. You're not quoting something in this one, and these seem like two different statements. Yes, looking at spoiler logs, you tend to notice patterns, and it's something that, very funnily enough, yesterday was brought up of noticing patterns in the randomizer. It's something that will emerge eventually if you look at something enough, or if you witness something enough times. You can make a mental note and go, oh, wow, I've seen a lot of items here. I've never really seen an item placed here. Ripper Tower, one of those places. Never really seen an item placed there. Worst room in the game. Very rare to see something there. Ridley area is kind of rare. The item that's powerbomb locked within Sector 3 under the speed boost blocks above the stretchy, that one's I don't really ever see as being a major. Lava maze isn't I never really see as a major item. It happens, but it's not very often. What other ones? Pillar Highway, I don't really see all that often being a major item, hence why I feel I can skip it most times. There was one instance or two instances, I think, in the tournament where it was a major. The two giant rooms in Sector 6, I never really see major items there. Ripper Road is in Sector 5 is another place where I don't often see a whole lot of items, like major items placed there. The top left in the big room in Sector 5, usually that back item could be one. It's kind of 50-50. I feel like it's sometimes it feels more often than not. So I wouldn't say that it's like definite to like, I would say it's maybe like 60%. Trying to think of other locations that I don't really see all too often come up. In lower Sector 4, this, how do I describe it? The long hallway with the snails, or the hermit crabs, that's blocked by speed booster blocks. That's behind the Kago. that you have to speed boost up from below to get to it. I rarely see that one as being a major item as well. So there are a lot of items that, you know, you can kind of just assume aren't, but you can never be too sure sometimes. Sometimes it's, you know, they're fine to skip, sometimes it's not. But those are, you know, items that when looking through a log, you go, oh wow, I've either haven't seen this in a very long time, or man, that's the first time I think I'm seeing that. So reviewing spoiler logs, yeah, I mean, you kind of notice some things about, you know, especially when you know how the logic works, like I do. For version 0.9, it places items in a linear progression where an item that you pick up unlocks the next item, meaning, okay, you start with speed booster unlocks the next item being bombs, then bombs unlocks missiles unlocks the next item, and then so on and so forth. And at a certain point, it kind of, you know, the scope kind of expands out from like your early game of main deck, sector 1, sector 2, you open green doors and everything's open to you. By that point, you usually have enough to where most everything is viable. So you kind of have to, you know, pick and choose how you want to approach it based on the items that you've obtained, because at a certain point when it's that open, it's hard to determine, okay, this is obviously the next item in progression, which then means the next item should be this. So when I get power bombs in seeds, and I know I've done this, and I think at least one of the races where I get power bombs, I finish clearing out a sector, and then I go and start checking power bomb locations, because power bombs is one of those things, especially in version 0.9, where if you get it, they weren't always necessary to complete the seeds. They weren't always necessary, but there were very specific occasions where the power bombs would lock an item behind a power bomb block. So you would need power bombs essentially to progress. So that's that. He has one actual item skip in Pillar Highway. Okay, yeah, I mean, one that, sure, okay, one that I've openly stated. Yeah, one that I openly do not like doing. I'm not going to rehash all the items he randomly skips, because you don't and you can't. You should have already confirmed what I put in the document. Oh, you should have already confirmed with all the hours of footage? Oh, I don't know about that. I think you were hoping that they would read the cliff notes like a lot of other admins in other communities or people that you pass the document on to. Very specifically, and that's very important, MST distributed these documents to other admins, and then I was yelled at for putting it in my Discord. Once it's out there, once you give it to other people, it's no longer contained in one community. So, and I believe it's alleged in this document where this is being done for the benefit of all Metroid Fusion community, a community in which these individuals have only been a part of at this point for less than a year. And you're going to see much later that, oh man, they really don't give a shit about the community, huh? Because they're willing to openly threaten the admins into a decision that they want that is, by all accounts, and from what I can tell, just done out of malice. But okay. They're saying that they should have confirmed what was put in the document, but then they proceed to go on and say, it's been a month. You have a week to make a decision. So they took 6 months to create this document, and they wanted everyone to drop what they were doing and review what's put forth in the document. In that time frame. Not everyone can drop what they're doing in their personal life. to do this at like on a whim. It's very tough actually for a lot of people with full-time jobs and whatnot, but the fact that as a thorough runner he skips random items is actually not a problem at all. Well, you're making it seem that way. I would expect that from anyone actually trying to win a race. So then why are we here? What was it? Why are you making the claims of me skipping items being evidence of stream sniping? Because there are times where I do skip items randomly. Either I forget about them or I don't know. Either I probably just forget about them or I'm trying to focus on something else and I find something that I need in my item checks where I go to check it. And it's like, okay, I'm in go mode now. So now I don't have to check stuff. The problem is every single one of those skips his opponent has checked first. The problem is every single one of those skips his opponent has checked first. Keep that in mind when we review all of the evidence that was put forth. Keep this specific sentence in mind. Every single one of those skips his opponent has checked first. That's not always the case. I've found that there are times where I skip items that neither of us check, and that's not at all mentioned. That is not normal. Well, and consider this. Herc is good at execution and has been practicing and solidifying his routing for efficiency. Thank you. I'll take the compliment. It's the only one I'm going to get in this document. I'll take it. He should be reaching, especially against Reed, a lot of items first. That's not always the case. If our route is different, then he's going to reach items before I reach them, and I'm going to reach items before he reaches them. Just because I'm efficient or good at routing or have good execution doesn't mean that my opponents are not able to get to items first. It's the whole point of a randomizer is that it can be anywhere, and one person can take objectively the correct route, and one person can't. One person might just, they just won't, or they just make a decision that lead to, an opponent can find an item, earlier, which opens more things up that could cause somebody to have to re-dive into a sector. Like if somebody goes to sector 2 first with missiles instead of sector 1, and the person in sector 1 doesn't really find anything with, a limited scope of what they can actually check, and say that, like they go to sector 1, but okay, let me put it this way. Example was laid out wrong. Let's scratch that. Say somebody goes to sector 2 with missile start. They unlock blue doors. They check to see if that Kago item is a major item, unless they do the Kago item, the Kago jump, which is out of logic. So we'll, for all intents and purposes, assume that the individual that is racing that went to sector 2 will not be checking that item. And the only other item in that instance is the item at bomb data room. If bomb data room is high jump or something, okay, that's fine. Continuing on, and then if you say that, and let's say that, an item that you pick up in the Kago item is morph ball. So right there, you've got high jump, morph ball, blue doors, missiles, and you have yet to do sector 1. Well, the person without morph ball that goes to sector 1, they're limiting their options. They can't check lava dive. They can't check the Hornode hallway. They can't even check any of the progression for charge core. So charge core is blocked off. They've got 1, 2, 3 items. They've got 3 items to check in sector 1. Now, after that, say they don't find anything of significance. Say they find bombs. Okay. They've got bombs. They didn't give them morph ball. They can't check the item that's in that vertical tower next to the save room. They can't check Hornode hallway. They can't check lava dive. They can't check. They can't check charge core area. They can't do any of that. So they have to go to Sector 2. Meanwhile, the person from Sector 2 can go and check Sector 1. And since they have Morph Ball, everything, they have access to more checks by default because you only need missiles and Morph Ball to really check all of the items in Sector 1. That's just how it is. There are there's one item that isn't really obtainable unless you have green doors or screw attack. But you can see where if there's a split there and one person in one area finds something that unlocks more things in the other area and the other person that goes there doesn't find diddly squat, then they're going to have to go to Sector 2. And when they go to Sector 2, they get blue doors and everything. And they find Morph Ball. Then it's like, well, shit, now I've got to go back. I've got to go back down Sector 1. I've got to double back. Meanwhile, the person who took Sector 2 to Sector 1, they clean out early Sector 2, all of Sector 1. They have 3 and 4 to go with now. Meanwhile, the other person, they have to take the extra time if they choose to go back to 1 immediately to go and find all the other items. And there are items that are locked near charge core that could potentially be, massive for progression. So, to sit here and I would expect that Herc is good at execution and he's been practicing to solidify his routing. He should be reaching, especially against Reed, a lot of items first. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's fact. That doesn't necessarily mean just because I'm good at execution doesn't mean that, I'm susceptible to making a mistake or for somebody else to find a better path. But if we get like speed booster start, which is like the norm, it felt like for a lot of this, you go, okay, you get speed booster, you check elevator, and then you go right to Sector 2 because Sector 2 is the obvious play. Garen's Spark or the stabilizer Spark isn't in level 2 difficulty. So there's really no need to even attempt it. You're limited to where you can go at that point, especially with a speed booster start. Morph Ball starts are the most interesting, but I digress. His random item skips should be including items his opponent hasn't checked. It does. His random item skips should be including items his opponent hasn't checked. They do. They're just not noted anywhere in your documentation. There's not a single one. Bruh. This is rando. Correct. We aren't looking for a 50-50 split here. 80-20 wouldn't be that surprising, but 100-0 is not the result of a blind runner. I don't think it was 100-0. I don't think that that's the case. Next point to consider on this is what if he's huffing unicorn farts and was playing legitimate and somehow managed to only skip items his opponent checked in 9 straight races. 8 in reality, the jet seat didn't really develop much. Okay. Consider if I was huffing unicorn farts and was playing legitimate. The wording here is used in a very specific way to suggest that him playing legitimately is just a figment of your imagination. It literally could never happen. Sure. If that is indeed natural, why does it abruptly stop during the stream delay races? Let's see. Lack of motivation to continue doing the tournament because of the toxicity generated by Lenophis and MST in the tournament. This was a sentiment that was shared by many participants when all of this was happening. There was a very lack of, and people dropped from the tournament because of the toxicity that was presented by these individuals. So lack of motivation. Metroid Dread came out at around that time, so I was very heavily involved in running, routing, trying to discover any like tricks or sequence breaks or anything like that. A lot of my time was used doing that. Got a new puppy. My life changed drastically at the end of last year in the middle of this tournament where I got a puppy and, she became the priority. and my home life became the priority, and my family. Um, and there was a span of, well, since the tournament started, 3, 4, 5 months where I didn't stream consistently. I don't think I streamed again until my puppy was 5 months old, so in December, and even then I wasn't consistent. All uploads stopped. Streaming was rare, if at all. So I am not practicing. I'm not really motivated to play. I may have had 1 or 2 warm up seeds, but like one warm up seed before my face off against my first match against Rezarin, maybe, and maybe before grand finals. I don't really recall. And even if they were done offline. So like, what, 2 practices across after 3 weeks, 3 weeks of not playing. And my movement like kind of just being messed up by dread. Okay. So yeah, I could say that I got worse, or that I just wasn't as motivated to play, or that my play looks different when I'm just making the safe bets. Okay, that's fine. I mean, that not being heavily involved, not doing seed checking or vetting, and really not being uh overly involved. That can affect how, and especially the mental aspect, like that can, it can affect how you play. And now I've had people attest that watching my videos in reverse on my YouTube, I get worse. Meaning, from the start, when I first start playing, to now, to whatever seed number is on my YouTube, I've progressively gotten better, according to some people. Okay, and listen, this is all opinion, but the fact of the matter is, my life changed in the middle of this tournament. My priorities shifted, and with all the toxicity and everything, mentally I distanced myself from everything because it was putting me in a negative headspace. And I started to seriously take my mental health extremely seriously, not too long after this entire tournament, because you look at it and it's just where I was at mentally, it wasn't healthy. And mentally, I just tried to put distance between myself and a lot of the tournament by shifting my focus and shifting my priority. Especially with all the negativity surrounding the tournament at the time. Like, I was still involved here and there, and I was trying to keep things running. And that's completely on me. And I fucked up. I dropped the ball. And I can't blame anybody else but myself, for how things, basically how everything kind of devolved, and not, especially towards the end, not being overly involved, and leaving Summer and Army to really run a lot of it, because at a certain point, Clueless, who's another admin, dropped out of helping us out, so because it was too much on him mentally as well. He saw it as a very negative situation, which he's told me, and that that was the reason that he needed to get away, because it was putting him in a very not great headspace. And I can sympathize with that, because it also put me in a not great headspace. It's just I had obligations, that I couldn't fully distance myself and say, I'm not doing this anymore. I was still, keeping tabs on things, and I was trying to make sure things kept moving, because I had an obligation, because I started this, I needed to finish it, but I just wasn't as heavily involved. After my races with Army, I mean, even my first set of races with Army, it was like right before Dread came out. I had just gotten the puppy. I got the puppy, I think 3 or 4 days prior. So that was a big that was a big focus. and everything just kind of changed after that. So, you know, did I play a little differently? Maybe. I I can't say. I probably did. I'm going to be reviewing those as well. Through a lot of the races that I need to review. But I think I'm up to like the second race against Army right now. So it's is there a shift in the way I play? Maybe, but not playing the randomizer every day, not checking, you know, vetting seeds, not being super involved. You know, you just kind of you just show up to do it and just do it to get it done. You know, you just show up like, okay, yeah, let me just play through, and honestly, I tried to just have fun with it, even with the you know, even with the delay and all the scrutiny around everything. I just wanted to have fun while I could. The whole reason for the tournament was for everyone to have fun and to celebrate the randomizer. So I'm just trying to have whatever fun that I could have. Um, it does happen in the first delay race, but again, the items he skips are items that Rezarin checked over 10 minutes prior. Okay. But then he stopped skipping items entirely. He was streaming practice after his puppy and referenced more practicing in those. What does that sentence mean? Yeah, I may have streamed. Okay, he was streaming practices after his puppy. Okay, yeah, I probably streamed right before the race and referenced more practicing in those. More practicing in those streams? Probably not. I think I only ever did one practice seat off of I think I only did one practice seat off of camera. We're off of my stream, which was again right before a race on my handheld. Just because I needed to. I don't know. I guess I felt I needed to do it before whatever race it was. You know, because it had been a while. Especially with Dread being front and center. I don't know. Is decision making changed entirely based around an anti cheat measure that does nothing to change what a runner does? What? How my decision making changed entirely? I don't know if you can prove that. I don't know if you can prove that though. Because every seed is different. So my decision making is based entirely on the specific seed I'm playing and what's available to me. That doesn't happen naturally. Well, it's a randomizer. If he kept skipping random items, that would be something in his favor, since it would appear he does indeed normally do that in races. I believe up until that point, supposedly, I do skip random items. Not only ones that apparently my opponent has checked. That would be something in his favor, since it would appear he does indeed normally do that in races, but he doesn't. He reverts back to what he knows, which is not skipping anything. Bro, really? Like, bruh. Come on. He reverts back to what he knows, which is not skipping anything. You can listen, you can harp on this all you want, but I mean the fact of the matter is that my life basically changed in the middle of this tournament. The toxicity around and all the negativity put me in a not great headspace. It just I felt bad. Like I feel like I was letting people down. I feel like with everyone not enjoying the tournament, it wasn't a great headspace to be in, and I had no choice. I felt like I had no choice but to, especially just to put myself away from it mentally, just to keep some sanity. Because it just felt stressful to me, and you know I'm working on trying to manage my stress, and one of the things that one of the things you're supposed to do when you get stressful is to take a break. Take a break from something. Get your mind on something else. And you know, stretch and just try and do whatever you can positively from that point, and you know, try to manage the stress that's incoming basically. And at the time, I wasn't seeing anybody to you know, for my own mental health. And you know, in my mind at the time, the only thing that I felt, the only thing that I could do was to just disassociate and distance myself from things, you know, physically, mentally. um and it's not healthy, but you know, it's what I did. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm proud I did it, because you know, I left Army in autumn, to basically have to do things on their own after they agreed to volunteer and help me. And you know, I feel like you know, I feel like I left them like to hang out to dry, and I feel bad about it, like extremely. And I know they are in an unenviable position where they are being having the finger pointed at them as kind of guilty by association. And I don't think that's right. And I even told MST this when he started to verbally kind of, I think, attack or seem to suggest that Summer was at fault for something or another. And I said very quickly when Summer started, she listed a bunch of bullet points, and this is something that Summer attests to. I said that this doesn't involve Summer. The allegations being made are being made against me. So there's no need to like attack her or involve Summer in these cheating allegations, because she did not have a whole lot to do with a lot of the stuff being alleged, or some of like the personal stuff being alleged. So I don't, I especially from all of this, I don't want any of the blame to come down on Summer or Army or anything like that, because you know, this was their first experience. They just wanted to help me out. I don't, and I kind of I left them out. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I left them I left them hung out to dry. In a very contentious position. I didn't go away fully. I was still there to, if something came up, or to coordinate, or to go through the list to approve commentators and stuff like that, to kind of keep things moving. But the every like day to day of like conversing with people in like the rando general, that kind of slowed down quite a bit. You know, I would reply like on mobile if I was reading through something, if I had some downtime with the pup. But I feel awful that I put them in that situation, and that is something that I will never let happen again. Pre-delay, while it's fine if a thorough runner skips items, skipping only items the other player has is extremely suspect. Didn't happen. Post-delay, he plays exactly like his YouTube seeds and stops skipping items. Right there, you have plenty. You have enough. You have every proof you need. He was stream sniping. Well, see, the problem here is that this is disingenuous. Skipping only items the other player has and is extremely suspect. That's not the case. That's not the case. And post delay, yeah, I kind of showed up and was just trying to have fun with it the way I do with my other things. I stopped caring, and that's a horrible thing to say, but there was a severe lack of motivation, and like lack of motivation, lack of practice, whatever whatever you want to call it. There may be this shift. I have yet to go back and actually look, but I don't think that's every proof right there, just based on what you say, because you can't take what is being said at face value, because the 72-page document includes things that did not happen. It includes lies from an abuser, essentially. Let's call it for what it is. MST is an abuser, as we'll see as we get to the bottom of this document. You've seen him deflect away from the accusations already. He's been quick to blame the administration for his problems, but the administration is also ultimately his fault. Hey, and I know for a fact I haven't deflected I've openly admitted that that I fucked up, and I believe I've done that just now. He went ahead by himself and didn't bother to properly organize the tournament. I did. Excuse me, but I did. And then everybody wanted to say, so don't be mad when it didn't go the way you wanted it to. The problems he deflects to are his own creation. I admit to everything that I've done. I admit. I am up 100% honest to things that I've done. And I've owned up to the fact that, yeah, I fucked up. But there's nothing that I can do except acknowledge that and move forward with the experience and knowledge that I have, that I've learned from it. So that way it doesn't happen again. I have asked Rasu specifically, are you absolutely sure Herc's TV was on when he was caught in the chat? If what you posted was your entire conversation, he says nothing about his TV until after you provide an old screenshot. That is verifiably incorrect. What happened was, and I believe I have some of these chats from this, is that I was accused by Lenofis, and there's a whole big discussion about it. And my first thing that I say is like questioning like what's going on here in the middle of my interview with Army. So in my interview after my second race with Army, I go quiet and I'm laughing at things that are being said, 'cause I'm not mentally in the conversation. I'm reading Discord. And they're saying that I was in the chat, and I don't know where is it? I own up immediately to it. Let me go back. Let me pull it fresh. Let me pull it fresh for you. Let me pull it fresh. Okay. Okay. Where's the snipper tool? Okay. I should have had these prepared. I'm so sorry. Oh shit. No. Stop. I accidentally clicked the view older messages. Whoops. Okay. I believe I have what I need. Oh, you know what? Let me grab this as well. All right. Where did I put it? Okay. Let me see. What can we see here? Ah, very good. Nothing. All right. This was the start of the conversation. I literally said, huh. And that was like the first thing that I put. Okay. Now, I say I opened the stream before we started to copy the URL, but I didn't have it open. I closed it right after, which is true. I opened it up on the web page. I copied the URL. I closed the web page. The reason I do this is because I need the URL, and it's faster than typing it in, especially on such short notice. Because I put it in my stream title, and anybody at that time, and anytime you see me in a tournament, like regardless, I always say to go watch the restream. I don't want people watching my channel. I want the restream to be watched. So I did a quick copy paste and closed the channel. That was it. All right. Where's the thing? Okay. The next thing is someone goes, what was that screenshot trying to prove? Jagger, racers are not authorized to see or listen to opponents on the restream. Being on the restream chat is ill-advised as they may spoil locations or give hints. Yeah, correct. Absolutely. And I wrote, someone thinks I was trying to, thinks that I was watching the restream, kind of rolling my eyes like, someone thinks that I was watching the restream, you know, like kind of like whatever, you know, like, oops, like, I don't believe it because I wasn't. And then Friday chimes in immediately, goes, oh, wow, that's why he was undefeated and found the items before Army. During this conversation, I realize, I go, oh, fuck, I think it might still be on my TV downstairs in the living room when I was watching Scotty versus Tupto. That was immediate. So this saying, if what you posted was your entire conversation, he says nothing about his TV until after you provide an old screenshot. There was no screenshot provided in any of this. This happens immediately. This is verifiably false and another lie from MST. I state immediately that it is probably from my TV that is still on downstairs, because prior to my race against Army, there was Autumn versus someone, and then Scotty versus Tupto. Their races ended in the middle of one of my meetings for work, and I worked into the afternoon. I think we had a 5:30 start maybe, and I got done the meeting at like 5:20. And I put the puppy in the crate. TV was on downstairs, set to low, so that way it was like playing in the background, but it wouldn't be picked up on my microphone for my meeting. And I put the puppy in the crate. I ran upstairs because I needed to get set up, my equipment and everything, get OBS set up, get my TV on, get my GameCube on, get my USB with the flash card with the SD card in it in there, so that way I could patch the file, move it to the thing, and put it on my flash cart, and then be good to go. Everyone's laughing at me. And I state sound was down since I was working, but still I am logged in on my TV. And I mention if that's enough to have me forfeit, then that's whatever. That's fine. I'm saying that if like, okay, so if that screenshot is enough, then I have no problems needing to forfeit. I said this immediately. I said I have no problems forfeiting, and that was the honest truth. It was an honest mistake. I didn't mean to do it, and I was not cheating at the time. If it was an issue, and okay, and if I need to forfeit, I'll do so, and that's fine, no problem. So everything that's said right here. Are you 100% certain you didn't accidentally give him an excuse to use? Why didn't he mention his fiance turning it off to you either? She got home and turned it off. I didn't know that until I went downstairs. It's not like he has a problem talking about her and complaining about her on stream to people. This is fucking uncalled for. This is unbelievably uncalled for. He got mad at her on stream for having the audacity to come home early. Even when I gave him the out that his changed story could be true, he still claims I was twisting his words when I pointed out his story has changed every time we got new information. And that's an actual this is a legitimate thing that I said. For the record, I wasn't in the Twitch chat at all. Twitch's user list isn't really reliable at all, but shrug. It's not. And I can prove that it's not. You want to know how? Let's go take a look. First of all, let me address this right now. It is unfucking called for to bring my fiance into this and to use her in your lies. And this is the part in the beginning where I said things are going to get extremely personal. So, yeah, I don't get mad at her that she has the audacity to come home early. I just know that there are times where she comes home and it's like I start a seed and it's just like, fuck, she's coming home with groceries. I got to stop and go down and help her. It's not, that's whatever. Now, I'm a human. I'm only human. And there are times where if something's not right, I'm gonna say it. And I've more than shown that in this while being a part of this community. So with the puppy, I felt like I was not getting as much help as I felt that she had told me she was, and I said on stream, I said, it's tough right now with me and the puppy because my fiance that doesn't really help me out at all. Now that's a conversation that we had, her and I, and we worked through it, and everything's fine now. To sit here and say that I get mad and this is another reason why I haven't been streaming a whole lot, to be completely open and honest with everybody here. We can butt heads a little bit. And we together noticed that we would often feed off of each other's energy, which is not a very healthy thing to do, where if one person stressed, the other person would feed off of that energy, and then like their stress levels would go up, and the situation would become very tense when it doesn't, if it doesn't involve the two of us, or so we noticed that. And a big reason why I haven't been streaming a whole lot recently is because her and I have been working on it together. I'm not going to bring it up again because it's extremely personal and I really am just super uncomfortable. not only having to go through that and having just shared that, but yeah. So let's get back to the accusations, please. Are you 100% certain you didn't accidentally give him an excuse to use? It wasn't an excuse. My TV was actually on. If I wanted an excuse, I really honestly didn't need one, because the viewer list, as for the record, I wasn't in Twitch chat. Twitch's user list isn't really reliable at all, but shrug. Let's go see how reliable the viewer list is. Okay, so we've got this. We'll say that, okay, we've got these names, these viewer lists, and we're on the GDQ channel. Whatevs. Let's expand this. Everybody should be familiar with F12. Everyone familiar with F12? Good. So you can go onto any name on this list, and okay, there's that. Oh, look, Absolute Nero. Hey, let's change this name to the Nofis. And wow, would you believe it? It changed. Okay, absolutism. Oh, how about we just change that to MetroidMST? Oh, and it changes. So this is why it's such a slippery slope to use the Twitch user list and take a screenshot of it, because you see this, if you're not familiar with scam videos or scam baiting videos, one of the things that is done by people that are pulling off like phone scams, like tech scams from like India or wherever, they go onto your computer and they change the information displayed on your web page with the F12 elements. And if you look deep enough, you can find you can find the exact thing that you want. So if you, and this is not hard to find, because it literally, you can, when you click on things, it'll highlight them. As you can see, it highlights every part. Okay, so I want this part, then I want this part because it relates to that, this part because it also relates to that, then this part, also the name list. I don't want any of this, but I'll take this one because it's specifically for the viewers. This one's for the VIPs. This one's for moderators. That one's for broadcaster. This is the viewers list. This is all of the viewer list names. And this is the button for it. And then underneath this is all the users in chat. So everything on the page, it needs to have you need to have something on there. So you can go in and change the viewer list and to put things in and make it look like somebody's in chat when they're not. I fully admit to fucking up, though. I fucked up and left it on my TV. That's a thing that happened. That's on me. I fucked that up. And that was just 10 minutes to race time. I got to get upstairs. I just didn't turn the TV off. Came downstairs after everything that happened. Fiance, the first thing that she says to me, "You left the TV on down here." Said, "Yeah, I figured as much." And she does that a lot. She's very on top of things when we accidentally leave lights on, leave anything on. She will constantly remind me. There are days where I go to work, because I have to go back to the office now. Where I go to work and I leave the hallway light on, and we've got cameras in the house, and I'll get a text from her saying, "You left the hallway light on." And I go, "Whoops." Oops, knew I forgot to do something. So she's very on top of letting me, like, trying to remind me, like, "Hey, you left this on. Please remember in the future to turn this off." And I do it a lot when it comes to like our bedroom TV, some lights. Right now, the master bath fan is probably on from my shower this morning, and I should probably go turn that off after all this is done. So I want this to, because this document states and he has been, I'll go back through and find when I said I was twisting his words and bring it up at a later point, but because this has already gotten too long and I'm only on this fucking second page. He mentions accidentally give him an excuse. The investigation, Rasu wasn't even involved in the investigation until the next day, I think. Like I don't think he was involved until the next day. So there's no way he would have been able to give me any sort of excuse. I freely admitted to the fact that I fucked up and left the TV on downstairs. That's it. It was a fuck up, and I promised it wouldn't happen again, and it didn't. But you have to remember now, as I've just demonstrated, trying to confirm whether somebody is in the chat or not based on a screenshot of the viewer list is an extremely slippery slope. An extremely slippery slope because it can't be confirmed. The only way you can really confirm it is through like an IRC client, and not many people have those. So it's really tough when to try and verify something like that. And this is not to make the admins look bad, but as a snap reaction to this, to everything, they went, okay, we're gonna disqualify you. It's gonna be 1-1, and you're gonna do a best of. You're gonna do the match 3. And I kind of said, hang on, he's like, you can. I believe it was said that you can say what you want to say. You can have a say, Herc, but it doesn't mean we're going to listen to you because this is, what's going to happen. Army specifically stated he didn't care. He did not think that I was cheating based on what was seen. And I had kind of raised my hand and said, I'm fine with it, but this is a non-investigative decision, and this is just a snap decision to make a couple people happy. And they kind of said, well, we can investigate this. And I said, listen, let's not sugarcoat this. This was a non-investigative decision. So I pushed for there to be review. I pushed for there to be an investigation. Why would I, if I had something to hide, why would I push for there to be a review? Why would I want it to be reviewed if there's something nefarious going on there? I pushed them to review it, and upon review, Rasu reviewed both races, to my understanding, and reviewed recent streams within the past 6 days on my channel that showed that I was streaming with my puppy, and I was in my living room, and we were watching tournament races that were going on while logged in on into Twitch. And it was mentioned in the conclusion. Let me pull it up for you, actually. Let's pull that up. Let's pull up what was, let's quote. Let's do some quotes here. All right. After an investigation on the Hercules bench press versus Army of One race dispute, the mod team has found the following items. 1. A screenshot of Herc's presence in the SG chat during his race was presented, which is against general randomizer rules. Correct. I agree with that. Herc admitted to being in the SG chat. However, he stated that it was due to him forgetting to turn the downstairs TV off, which is the TV that he was using to watch SG prior to his race, and that he didn't know he was in the SG chat during his race and did not use the restream or chat for an unfair advantage. Fact. The mod team has reviewed the 2 race VODs and did not find any evidence of sudden route changes or any other indicators of foreknowledge of key items in any seed. In the mod team's opinion, Herc's routing decisions appear to be genuine and without foreknowledge of item locations within the seed. Now, let me put an asterisk to that. I'm not going to put an asterisk. I'm just going to state that MST claims that all of the admins are covering for me. Why if they are, why am I pushing for a review? Why am I asking them to actually review the races if I have something to hide, if I want them to cover for me? The fact is I was not involved in any of the decisions. I was not involved in the investigation other than to say, I want this investigated. I want this done properly. Because it's very easy to make a snap decision and go, a lot of people are upset about this. Let's just make the quick, easy decision. And I kind of put my foot down and said, I don't want the quick, easy decision that appeases a lot of people. I want actual, like, you know, and an actual investigation done to instead of just saying there was a screenshot, he's DQ'd, because that sets a horrible precedent. That sets an unbelievably horrible precedent, especially with what I just showed. You could take a screenshot and submit that for anybody, and have them DQ'd from a race because, oh, I've got a screenshot from a page that can be edited. Part of, like, it's not even a question that it has to be investigated to make sure that there's any evidence of this. And right here, again, both races were reviewed. Nothing was found. No foreknowledge, no sudden route changes, nothing. To further corroborate Herc's claims of forgetting to turn the TV off and the TV being downstairs and not in the vicinity of where he plays, a recent IRL stream dated 6 days ago, 5 days before his race, shows Herc's TV being left on and turned to a randomizer race on speed gaming, indicating the possibility of Herc forgetting to turn the TV off during his race is a valid reason, and the TV is not in the same room as where he streams. Despite Herc's claims of forgetting to turn off the TV off and there being no evidence of cheating due to being in the SG chat, Herc being in the SG chat is still a violation of general randomizer rules. Accurate. And therefore, the mod team has decided that the fairest action would be to reset the Army Herc match to 0-0 with a warning imposed to Herc. Warning imposed, and there's nothing that was found in an independent investigation, kind of lined up with what was said in the announcement of other independent investigations done on these claims where nothing was found. I also agree that it is a violation of rules. However, I understand while it is a violation of rules, and while it is a very snap decision, I still want an investigation done because I wanted someone else to review the tape, because it's extremely important to review that to see if there was actual cheating going on. Because if there was anything that kind of indicated that I was cheating, anything at all, then it's fine. Don't even reset it to 0-0. Disqualify. Just send me to losers, whatever, or make me lose the match that I was apparently in the chat for. That's fine. Which, they apparently, from what I can tell from context clues, was done after 2 hours from what Friday said. I think that was in one of the screenshots that I pulled up, but he basically said, thank God that this was discovered 2 hours into your races, meaning it was it was pointed out during the second race. I don't know if it was by Lenofus or by somebody else, but I think in the admin chat, Summer states that it wasn't somebody involved with the tournament. I believe she says it was not Lenofus. It was someone else, but they did not screenshot at the time. So I've got nothing there except for what is being claimed by the admins of what they saw. Okay. Fuck, this is long. Screenshot on the restream chat. Yeah, my TV was on. Yup, it was. Oh, fiance actually came home and turned off the TV. She did. You're twisting my words. Well, when you sit there and you twist what I say, and I'm not going back to do that to fucking search for shit that I didn't fucking pull up because I'm an idiot, but I'll pull it up later. He lied about being known for doing main deck as soon as it was open. Has MST ever heard of I believe it's hyperbole? Sorry, hyperbole. It's hyperbole. I lied about being known for doing main deck. I lied about it. I think I said something along the lines of, I think I'm pretty much known. I think I said, and I'm known for doing main deck when it's available. Honestly, it could have been an exaggeration. There could have been a lot of races recently where I did it early, or not races, but seeds where I did it early. And again, all of this, the tournament takes place after 2 months after the release, so meta is being formed. You know, the routing is becoming cleaner and is more easily and well defined. So at the time, I may have done it a few times recently, and I just made the claim, or was speaking in hyperbole, which I believe I'm using that correctly. I might not be. I looked for examples of this. It is entirely possible that he could have done it once. It paid off, and someone made the statement based on that alone. I made the statement. Don't bother going back and doing actual research, though. Thanks. He does main deck, and I'm the one has to do all the research. Fucking shocking. He does main deck early one time before the tournament. You mean when shit was still being figured? Okay. Here he says it's a really dumb idea to check main deck. I probably do. Fucking tournament seeding race too. Oh wow. So while everything is still kind of like developing and opinions are being formed, yeah, probably at that time I thought it was not a great idea. But then after I did more seeds, I realized, oh shit, power bombs can lock items, and those items tend to be important 50% of the time. This is the only time he does main deck early before the tournament. It doesn't pay off, and anyone watching and not knowing any better would assume it's a really dumb play based on Herc's own statement. Okay, yeah, off that statement, but I guarantee you that there's plenty of other times on my fucking channel where I state that it's a good idea. He lied to cover his cheating, and none of you have pressed him on that. I have to ask, besides nothing, what are you guys doing here? Is there some combination of words you are looking for that will magically make his lies and cheating disappear? That's a really good tone to take when you're speaking to the admins and basically wanting to get something out of them. Besides nothing, what are you guys doing here? Oh. Besides nothing? Oh, well, I believe they're doing an investigation. Besides nothing, they're letting the person who has a 72-page document dropped in their lap, they're allowing him the time to work this into his busy schedule, to review races, to review what's being alleged. However, something gives me I get the impression that somebody didn't want me to actually go through it and find what was there, because I have no problems calling out bullshit. And if something's not right, I speak up. That's just how I am. And a lot of people don't like me for it, and I accept that. And I have a very outspoken personality, and sometimes I just ramble on about nothing, and I accidentally offend people. Oops. But that's, I understand not everyone loves me. Some people like that I speak my mind freely and am vocal when things don't add up. And some people don't like me just because I'm very outspoken. That's fine. Not everyone has to like me. Not everyone does. And I've accepted that a long time ago. But to say that I've lied to cover my cheating when there's really been not a whole lot present, and really this is saying that I lied to cover my cheating, but your 72-page document contains lies to try and implicate me. Are we writing this about me or about yourself? He lied to cover his cheating, and no one pressed him on that. MST, are you confessing something here? Because since I've rejoined the Fusion Discord, I pressed you on it, and you freely admitted to threatening, blackmailing, gaslighting the Fusion admins by using speed gaming to get a decision faster to your liking. You've also insulted the entire Fusion community by stating, quote, "I forgot that only one person has a life." Words from an innocent, honest person. Also, just quickly here. Quickly, this is page 3. I thought this was already supposed to be quick. Consider the spoiler logs influencing his decision. First, that is a big reason why no runner should be allowed to handle generating seeds. And second, any rando that needs that is not ready for a tournament. Aha! However, let's hang on. hang the fuck on. I can go back and find this immediately. Yeah, here it is. Let's go back up to when Kazuto told us that it could be used for a randomizer tournament. What is being stated here? Any rando that needs to be vetted is not ready for a tournament. The person who created the randomizer stated himself that it could be used for a tournament. Let's find it. Oh man, 20 planning goes back a long fucking while. Oh Jesus. Oh boy. Oh, went too far. I wish I actually read through this before I started this and pulled this from the logs. Where is Kazuto? Who needs context anyway? Overrated, I say. Kazuto, quote, who needs context anyway, end quote, is very quotable, LOL, end quote. Right? That seems like this in the entire document. Quote, on August the 1st, I'm highly planning on having a new version out for the tournament, if mainly to purge those few bugs that can cause impossible seeds. Having to vet seeds for every match is a waste of people's time. Not to suggest some other logic flaw couldn't come up, but I mean, I know about a bunch that are currently caused unbeatable seeds, so fixing those needs to happen before the start of the tournament. Where is it? I know he says it. Oh, I'm not going back far enough. Whoops. Looking in 2022. That's part of the reason. Still not enough. Still further. Keep going. I'm wasting everyone's time and I don't edit my videos, so fuck. Let me scroll back up. He definitely says that it can be used for the tournament. I might be in my DMs. I'll find it, but I need to continue on, or else this will take forever. It was said, this is a big reason why no runner should be allowed to handle generating seeds. Okay, so I'm not allowed to handle generating seeds because I might start to notice patterns in the way that seeds are generated or where items are. What? I'm not entirely sure what his gripe about this is, because is he saying that no runner should ever make randomizer seeds? Because literally anybody has the capability of using the randomizer and generating seeds and looking at the spoiler log. So I don't understand what is being said here, to be completely honest. Just consider this. AUG against Autumn and Army. Herc ignores spots that are actually pretty heavy locations for progression. I don't think so. Nightmare Containment Alcove has 2 spots that were both weighted pretty high, more so than the items beneath in Lone Gerber's hallway and the transit to Sector 6. He skips it against both Army and Autumn. If, well, know. I think in one of my races versus Autumn, I found Space Jump, and I immediately ran to a location that had a known major item in it, and then continued from there. In my race against Army, I believe one of them, Gravity Suit, was actually in the what he's referring to as the containment alcove, which is the top of the big room in the top left. But you have to shine spark through the blocks. The one is on the one side of the shine spark blocks, the other one's on the other on a raised platform. We're gonna go through, but one of them, actually no, the only race against Autumn that actually has any bearing, because the other one was a jet seed. I don't think I checked it immediately. I think I checked the hallway first, found Space Jump, and went, oh shit, and started panicking and ran right to Sector 2, Crumble City, where a known major item location was, thinking that Plasma was locked by Space Jump, but that was not the case. Progression was elsewhere. So I went back to doing what I was doing. I may have actually gone to Sector 6 because I was closer to 6 at that point and I hadn't touched it yet. And I proceeded to do all the checks all the way down through Sector 6, which I believe Autumn cleared out early, yet I still was in there doing all of the checks. So one would assume that if I was stream sniping, I wouldn't be checking all the fucking items, wasting time like an hour into a race. I skipped it against both Army and Autumn, just disproved that. If he was blind to being influenced by the spoiler log, the alcove would have been the higher priority for him. No. Just saying that if I was blind to being influenced by the spoiler log holds some weight in decision making. It isn't the grand, like, magnum opus, which this document seems to think that it is. It's not that I'm going to every location because of that. I'm weighing it in my mind as I'm running to do like making snap decisions, like let me just check this first, or do whatever. Like I'm not perfect at routing. Like I fucking suck at this game sometimes, but like to say that I'm just using that is incorrect. There's a lot of context missing. He skips another highly weighted item next to Notori when Army finds Gravity Suit in Nightmare Containment Alcove. And that is also the only time he skips Ripper Road on the way down to level 3. I don't know if I honestly don't know if I usually check Ripper Road on the way in or out, but there's a very severe lack of knowledge presented by MST when it comes to talking about, or presented by MetroidMST and Kazuto. Sorry, they're both on the document. When it comes to documenting and discussing how I route Sector 3, they act as though me going to unlock yellow doors first and checking on the way out is absurd to them. However, Sector 5, most of the items, there's like 12 items, I think there's only 2 without the sector being broken and without having yellow doors open that you can access. So if I'm going in there with it completely not destroyed, again, I had a lot of trouble sleeping last night. If I go in there with it not destroyed, objectively, the absolute correct routing is unlock yellow doors. If you've got power bombs, you check the 2 items that are right outside that room, below and above. You run down the hallway where you came from, go through the now unlocked yellow door, check bottom and top item, check top item or bottom item. I don't think it matters really what the order is. You check those items, then you come back out, you go back up and out, or in one way or the other, and you can check Ripper Road at that point. And if the sector is destroyed, you've got Nightmare Containment Alcove, you've got Lone Gerber's Hallway, you've got the Magic Box Room, you've got all the options. It makes sense in every way possible to go unlock yellow doors and check from bottom to top. That's literally the most effective way to route Sector 5. And it is very apparent in both, and I guess in this document, and severely, severely on display in the 72-page document, that they do not understand, efficient routing to make the claim that Herc doesn't check items on the way down. The only item that I could really check in certain situations, potentially, if I'm literally having to go unlock yellow doors, it's likely that I could only check Ripper Road. Whether or not I check it on the way down or the way out, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter when I check it because it's all the same. I think checking on the way out is more efficient, but I would have to time it, and I have no idea. He's not being influenced by spoiler-alongs. That's an excuse to try to hide behind. What's your excuse for not knowing how to route, though? I would want to know. And you also have the attitude of the guy himself. Oh, man, here we go. I knew my personality would get me in trouble. Have you noticed yet he can't take an L even when all the plainly obvious facts are against him? I don't know. I've yet to see any. I've literally owned up to the shit that I've done wrong. I always do. This is a gross misrepresentation of me. I'm always willing to admit where I fuck up to learn from it. Even if people aren't presenting it to me. I know, like fuck, I messed up. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I will own up to shit that I do wrong. But to say that I can't take an L, yeah, I don't like losing. It sucks. But are you saying that I can't take an L based off of a 72-page document that I allegedly only should have had 1 week to review? Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're talking about here? Because it damn sure isn't about anything else, right? Nah, you wouldn't go that far. You have the example above of him changing his story. It didn't change at all. And when confronted about that with the facts, he says, I'm twisting his words. No, actually, because you're coming at me with not facts. You're coming at me with lies, things that didn't happen, that you've put into your 72-page document, things that didn't happen. When it came to asking for the seed early, he was trying to argue he wasn't actually asking for it early when it literally exactly what he wrote, and it is and in the screenshot. The guy can't let himself lose, and you see that in the tournament. Okay, time to address this. So, this is the screenshot that he's referring in a 72-page document, and I'll read it out. Quote, so for the seed distributing this morning, should we stagger the distribution by a few minutes? Let me send it to me first, then send to Leno. Less of a chance for him to send to someone that could spoil, which might be a possibility. I've been a bit suspect since the time he went straight to Nightmare for Gravity. Brought up by a different admin, very suspicious. It would be most fair if we just delay sending the seed as long as possible, but send it at the same time to both of you. I can only imagine the shit show if Leno got wind of you receiving the seed earlier than him. I know you run on hardware, Herc, so how long do you think you would need to patch and load the seed into your SD card and get ready? I said like 2 or 3 minutes, which is true. That's about how long it takes. Getting it at the same time, plus the delay means if he sends it to someone, that's a lot of extra time if he gets it and ships it to get info. I just want it to be as fair a race as possible. Plus, I'll be streaming, so you'll see if there's any shenanigans on my end, meaning any audio or anything else, or if I'm delaying longer than I said. Apparently, I can't immediately unfriend me on Discord. Okay. Here's the thing. There were suspicions that Lenofus was potentially cheating, and we didn't know how, just based on, there was speculation that maybe someone was feeding him info. We were not sure. Based on the beeline right to gravity suit for no reason, from what I was told. So It was a legitimate concern that someone might be getting the seed and then sending it off to a friend or something to start playing it early, so that way any info can be passed along to help influence the decisions. Because I play on hardware, I need to get the seed, I need to patch the ROM, and I need to place it on the flash cart and load it in. That's a process that takes me about 2 minutes. I wanted it to be so I get it ready and then we're good to go and ready to go as soon as like we're set up and everything. But this fucking tournament was a nightmare with getting like things set up, so it probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. I'm not demanding the seed early. I'm not stating that that's what we're gonna do. I'm asking a question. I was literally only asking a question as to what we should do to try to minimize the potential for cheating. And I completely admitted, especially in the private chat, in which I can publish those comments as well when I have them, that, yeah, it looks bad. And I agree that it looks bad. And I shouldn't have even suggested it. And I realized that. Yeah, I definitely should not have suggested it. It was inappropriate and to even think about doing. I wasn't doing it to try to play it early. Like I wasn't like as this is let's see his explanation on what he thinks. Anyone asking for a seed before their opponent, while not proof, is a very strong indicator of something amiss. Whether they have suspicion of the other runner or not, Lenofus already knew Herc was cheating. He knew. Oh, he knew it was all a lie. Okay. Did he ask for a seed early? Okay, well, I had a very specific reason, but sure. Lenofus went to an admin and the runner that was cheated against with the evidence of Herc cheating. That admin, Army of One, did not share the 2 VODs provided with the other admins after being prompted by Clue. Well, no, because they did another check and they were like, yeah, there's nothing there. And I think they're fucking... I believe from my memory, his claim was, oh, he waited in the hallway until the power bomb went off to see what the item was. That's how we know he was stream sniping. Listen, you can't make it up. Herc accuses people of accusing him behind his back, and here, for reference, he accuses 15 people total, 15 total people behind their backs. Oh, that's provable. That's provable with what I stated. That I was stating that, you know, we don't know that he could potentially be doing something nefarious. Yeah, that apparently offended 15 friends who are friends with abusers. This list includes myself, Leno, the rando dev Kazuto, 1 commentator, tracker, runner, 3 other runners, another tournament and league organizer unrelated to this tournament, and the rest are filled with interested parties. This other tournament organizer has, by the rules of the tournament, been able to claim wins against their opponent, but refused to do so because they didn't even want to give the appearance of abusing their position as a tournament admin. This other tournament organizer has, by the rules... There's so much wrong with this sentence. There's so many grammatical errors. Please if you're ever going to write something, please proofread this shit, because this is... A lot of this like is hard to make out. This other tournament organizer has, by the rules of the tournament, been able to claim wins against their opponent, but refused to do so because they didn't even want to give the appearance of abusing their position as a tournament admin. I'm guessing he's referring to Army being able to claim wins. He's even stated that he doesn't think there was anything that nefarious that was happening, and that he didn't believe that I was cheating. And that he didn't want to, he didn't think it was substantial enough. So I'm sorry that this admin was doing their job, and that was their own personal opinion that they formed. But apparently they're guilty of something. We watch things we are interested in together. We watch a lot of tournaments if some of our group is involved, even if we are pretty lost in it. Not sure why this matters. If Leno was shipping seeds off to his friends, all of us were in on it. Leno was not shipping seeds off. Okay. Well, that's hearsay. I mean, sure. This group has a very long history combined in randomizer tournaments as participants and organizers. Relevance. That is the group of people that Herc is accused of cheating. Didn't accuse them of cheating. All behind our backs, too. Okay. Which he made sure to vilify Leno for doing, despite Leno doing exactly what Herc said people should do, take evidence to an admin. I literally apologized for that, and I realized that it was not the best way to handle the situation. I don't know what more you want from me from saying, listen, my bad. I felt that something was amiss on two direct things. Two direct things after basically being promised that winning wasn't enough by Lenofus. Let's get into this, actually. Let's get into this. So the reason I spoke up and called Leno out after the second straight time that I was playing Army that they're claiming was cheating, but without any like screenshot this time, is because of my exchange after the rant he went on to me after after we decided as an admin team that because FPiz's equipment crashed and he soft locked and then his reset basically bricked all of his stuff, and we couldn't reach Lenofus by the race channel, which we asked everyone to keep open in case we needed to get a hold of you. Since we had a situation where one person was unable to finish and Lenofus was not following the rules, we decided to have them rerun the race. And apparently I made a unilateral decision. Let's read, shall we, what happened directly after. So let me get this right. FPiz makes the dumbass decision to put himself in a bad spot in Sector 2, resets, afterward his controller issues, and then gets granted a rematch. Do I have that right? Were facts even attempted to be gathered? His controller issues, should they be genuine, happened after he reset, after he made a bad play and probably got tilted about, then went into restream chat. He actually went into the race channel chat, which is how we knew. And I wasn't there for this, but there are logs, I believe. I don't know if we still have those. That he went in there first, couldn't get reached, and then he was like, well, I can't do anything. And probably and then he went to the restream chat. Was in there for a good 25 minutes, was chatting, did not reboot his PC in that time at all, made no attempt, and is granted a mulligan because of his bad decision. Well, you know, he was literally trying to make it work, according to him. That's how he started. Let's see how he continues. And this is actual bullshit. I watched the first 25-ish minutes of the VOD to try and ascertain what happened. Something smells here. He's the one that pushed for this game 3 to be today. What? I don't know what that means. That literally didn't happen. Which you can verify yourself in the discussion thread if you want to. If he knew he could have controller issues, he should have waited like I suggested, because I was also waiting on Kaz to release the next version. So if his controller issues are genuine, dude should have waited. I watched the VOD. He literally he should have waited. We also waited forever for Kaz to even get an update out, so that was never going to happen. Like, this is the update for the randomizer didn't come until the middle of October. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember a specific date, but it didn't happen around. I don't think it happened around this time. Might have, but I'm not entirely sure when it happened. And I'm not going to go back. And I'm sure Kazuto will be like, "Oh, you're lying about me again." I just don't remember offhand. I said, no, it's because it's a software issue. Had the controller work, and I admit I didn't communicate this well. Had the controller worked the entire way, FPiz could have continued in that time. It's our understanding there was an attempt made to make it work, but found only a full reset solved the issue. I can only work with what I'm given here, even with a 10-minute deficit. It could have gone either way, especially with having knowledge of not needing to go certain places. And here's the other thing. If there's an issue software-wise and we can reach you via the chat, we can ask you to stop. We could be like, hey, can we put a pause on this? Can we put a pause on the race real quick because we've got an issue here that needs to be solved. And again, that's why, part of the reason why we ask, like, hey, can we make sure everyone's in the race channel? Something's going on downstairs, and I should be the only one in the house with the dog. Laura! She's up to something down there, I think. What are you doing down there, baby? Huh? I hear a lot of commotion. What's going on down there? So yeah, we could literally ask, like, hey, can we take a timeout while your opponent resets? And that's fine. We could have done that. The problem is there was an attempt to reach out to him, and he was breaking the rules, and he didn't have it open, so we couldn't reach out to him. We couldn't put a pause on it. So given like what we know, like, we just said, okay, well, we have one person who has issues with his software, couldn't get it working in the time that he had. Well, you know, the other person just kept on going. So, you know, our hands are kind of tied. We just have to have them redo the match. I watched the VOD. He literally sat there not rebooting his PC, which is supposedly what fixed it pre-game 2, and sat there for almost 19 minutes. Yeah, well, 19 minutes of us trying to also contact you to get you to stop so he could reboot his PC. So you're telling me that, oh, he's just supposed to reboot his PC and you're just supposed to gain the advantage? No, dude. We ask you to be in the race channel so that way we could call a pause if something happens. Like, come on, man. He could have rebooted and restarted in that time, might have even won, so he took a 10-minute time loss, which he put himself into. I said, if it was a hardware issue, then yes, that's on him to get a new controller, but if it's software and it doesn't work, then, like, I don't know. Shrug. Turned into a 30-minute something. I said, even then, you could say just restart the PC, but that means a 10-minute hole could be even deeper, having to set up stream and the emulator and stuff. So, like, I would imagine trying to avoid that would have been preferred. The fact that he's trying to guilt trip this rematch, you bought right into it. And I laugh because I'm like, I didn't buy into anything. Because I can only find it funny that I'm now being accused of buying into something that I've been told and shown that attempts were made to be reached out to the opponent, Lenofis, who did not respond and did not have chat open. So the moment I found out what happened, I asked why we didn't restart, and that was true. But at the same time, the other question is, why didn't we pause? He said, okay, so answer my question. I said, I asked previously for racers to at the least keep the race time open in case something like this comes up. He goes, what facts did you find in the course of your investigation? I just stated them. What led to this decision? Just stated them. I want specifics on, other than this supposed software bug, and you know what? Let's play devil's advocate here. If I win again and he whines and bitches, what does that make you look like? If I get knocked down to losers because of this, it's just going to look like you're covering for him. You're trying to make sure this unknown guy, this super low seed, loses. 3, you kind of made this decision very hastily. Should have at least waited like 24 hours or something. Now I know you've mentioned this several times. You're doing this on your own, more or less. Wow, it's almost like Lenofis, just like his friend MetroidMST, is also into manipulation, trying to manipulate the decision that was passed down by the admins. Weird. Kind of convenient, Don't you? It's starting to add up. I can't help that. Seems like you're dropping the ball here a bit. I said, if the shoe was on the other foot, you'd be pissed you didn't get a fair shake either, which is a fair statement to make. Very fair statement, because if something happened with Lenofis and we couldn't reach out to FPIZ and get him to stop so he could get set back up to have a fair, even race, yeah, he'd probably be going on the same ramp. If something happened to me that I knew was preventable, then that's on me. I don't think FPIZ knew as well that this was something that happened. So I take the L and move on. I've played in enough of these tournaments to know you just want him to have this rematch. He's literally just ranting at me. So he breaks race rules by being in restream chat during the race saying his controller broke. He was in Restream chat after it was confirmed that we could not get a hold of get a hold of Lenofis, so he had no other option but to hit forfeit and be like, I can't do anything, I can't fix this, it's bricked. And once that's happened, like he's already put it in, like his hands are tied. It's a shitty situation, but that's what it is. So if he loses, he'll just drop. Say if he loses, he'll just drop. Total manipulation tactic, by the way, as if everything that he's saying is not a manipulation. Makes a bad routing decision and then has controller issues out of his control, confirmed by several other parties. The second time he's had them against the same opponent. Don't know if that happened. This is the important part. You have motivated me. Me winning isn't enough. Perk, you may ask yourself, why is it that these last two lines, you have motivated me, me winning isn't enough, is important? You may be saying to yourself, well, let's go down memory lane here. Let's see. This is the event that kicked everything off. After this event, my very next race against Army, there's a screenshot of me, and I was being accused of cheating. Right? By Lenofis, you say, and MetroidMST? Oh, those two buddies? You're telling me that, okay, those two guys, okay, sure. They believe that I made a unilateral decision specifically to try and cover for somebody who basically was getting fucked over by somebody who didn't follow the rules. Okay. You're allowed to believe that. That's your own personal opinion. I respect that. So how is it that the next race after the re-race, so for the re-race for Army, I raced Army the first time, we reset to 0-0, and then it's Lenofis and MetroidMST again making claims, back-to-back races, after basically saying me winning isn't enough. So, okay, so you winning isn't, so what is enough then? Character assassination, lying about somebody who's not actually cheating, pushing a 72-page document, which you're not technically listed on, but kind of implicated by association, kind of, with what is said. What is enough? What is enough, Lenofis? Tell me. If you winning isn't enough, what's enough? Is disrupting the entire tournament and making it a toxic environment, is that enough? Demotivating every participant and making it not fun anymore for anybody else, except for you, MST, who lost in his first two matchups, Kazuto, who lost in his first two matchups. Is that enough? That you basically suck the fun out of something that people worked really hard to put together and keep running? Is that enough? Or is it enough when I'm shadow banned under false accusations and little to no evidence to support it other than trust me? Is that enough? Like, those two, like this entire thing is all manipulation, and then it's, you've motivated me, me winning isn't enough. I don't think there's any other way to take that other than, especially with the events that preceded, of being accused by these two individuals, back-to-back races. I don't like, and now there's a 72, like, I don't think there's any other way that this could be taken. So this is what started, and this, I've claimed that this has started everything off, and this is exactly why I say that this has been the jumping off point for all of this, because it's basically a threat. It's a veiled threat. It's all manipulation and just, talking bullshit, jumping to conclusions, and then a threat, essentially, like a veiled threat, pretty much. Especially considering that directly after this, both of my next races, it's being brought up that I'm a cheater. So it's not enough. So you want to paint me as being something that I'm not, to try to tarnish my name and reputation that I've built up in this community for 10 years, and you're not even a part of, and MetroidMST isn't a part of, and Kazuto's kind of, he does the rando. it's already been stated that I've been unquestionably banned from the rando community, which I don't, who the fuck knows who runs that? Probably MST and Kazuto. Even though that I would say a majority of the people that are in that community are in there because I've promoted the rando as much as I have. And they're also, I believe it's also Kazuto's personal rando Discord, which a good majority of people didn't even know existed until it was written in this report. So I don't understand what getting me banned from the Metroid Fusion Discord even solves, because I've never cheated in any randomizer tournament, or in vanilla speedrunning. You can, I encourage you all, go back and watch all of my fucking videos on my speedrun.com page. Go for it. Let me know if you find anything that points to cheating, please. No splicing, no whatever the fuck, nothing. I play it all straight. I always have for the past 10 years. I've helped to build the Fusion community and the rando community. As soon as it was announced that there was going to be a randomizer, I immediately put the shit together for it in the Discord so people can congregate and discuss it. I've done GDQ hotfixes. I've done all this stuff, posting on Reddit, putting all this shit on YouTube, trying to expand as much outreach as I can to help grow this community. And I'm the toxic element. I'm the cancerous element, apparently. Somebody who didn't cheat, but a person and their friend who wrote a 72-page document, and they, I guess, coerced or got the creator of the randomizer to sign his name on it too, to give credibility. After basically being threatened all the way back in September. And then trying to be painted as a cheater. So I'll let everybody else who's watching determine what they want from that. But to me, that's basically a threat that they've followed through on to try to get me, blacklisted from communities with these lies, and to try to tarnish my name and to paint me as something that I'm not. And it's not right. And this is, they're all abusers at this point. We're going to get to it. Don't worry. But let's get back to what is stated here. Apparently I vilify Leno and I call him out in public, and I already apologized that I shouldn't have done that. Where's my thing? Where is it? I know I've highlighted it. There it is. There we go. I'll say this to end all of this. I shouldn't have called out people no matter the circumstances, but this tournament was put together and organized for everyone interested in the rando to have fun. I get bragging rights are on the table, but that's no reason to cheat or watch the restream. I do understand the urge to want to open the restream and see what chat is saying and to see how well you did. For reference, we've had other people that were caught in the restream after the whole incident went down with me and my television. So there were other people that we were being hyper vigilant on the viewer list, and other people were caught by the admins. So we had to address that just for context. We've made it abundantly clear that it will not be tolerated going forward to be in the restream or your opponent's stream during the race. The admin team has been working through the night to make sure this isn't an issue again. I've gotten very little sleep. If there is legitimate, concrete evidence that I cheated and not speculation, pass it on to the admin. That is not myself or Army. Again, an investigation was done without my involvement. True. And we had to rerun the races regardless of the circumstance. I hate that something that I and others have worked hard to set up and put numerous hours of personal time that could have been spent doing anything else is being mired in all of this. I honestly think it's a good thing we've got a break in the calendar and the schedule for all of this to cool off. I have nothing against anyone in the Discord, and I want to keep it that way. All I want is for the tournament to be fair for all entrants and for everyone to have an equal shot. This was after I called out Leno in the Discord, the rando chat, for basically, going to army my opponent again. And so he was bringing evidence to my opponent and not an independent third party. And that to me stunk. And I'm the type of person where if I feel something isn't right, I speak up. And a lot of it didn't feel right to me. Being told me winning isn't enough, and then being accused on back-to-back occasions by the same people, to me, it just felt like something was off. So I spoke up. I shouldn't have done that. I acknowledge it, and I've made an apology for it, and I continue to apologize for it because I realize that I should have acted differently. I shouldn't have acted that way. And, the only thing I can do is learn from it and move on, which I've been attempting to do. And so that's the whole thing with how all of this got rolling. But let's get back to the 72-page document about the whole asking for seeds thing, because we've already gone over that. So nobody blinks an eye when the person accused of cheating twice just asks for the seeds to be sent to him early. Let's see. I made the apology. Oh, an entire month before. Wow. November? And I'm being called out for... My races against Resrin were probably in like early mid October, right after Dread. And I've got a month between races, and there's surprise that my playing isn't the same, or it's an entire month. So for what purpose exactly does he need the seed early? Come on, dude. Pretend. Can we pretend at least? Could you at least pretend to understand what's happening before you start slinging accusations? It's very obvious what's being talked about here is that there was previous speculation that Lenofis was potentially sending the seed to probably MST. Who fucking knows? At this point, to play through the seed along with him and pass info along. That there was suspicion. Yeah, okay, suspicion. And it's very well known that I play on hardware. It's stated here, right in here. How long do you need to patch and load the seed onto your SD card and get ready? And here we're asking, for what purpose exactly does he need the seed early? Oh, to patch and put on my thing so I can load it up immediately. Bro, come on. Like, it's like, what, page 47, we're not even trying anymore? Come on, man. At least, like, pretend to know what's happening. If Leno is sharing the seed with us, how will Herc having the seed earlier do anything to prevent cheating? It allows me to load it on my flashcard so we can start the moment he gets the fucking... as soon as he gets the seed, was what I thought would happen, I guess. I don't know. It's something that we were just kicking around ideas for. Which wouldn't that be cheating as well? The biggest question here is, why do none of the admins, especially Army, since he had the evidence Leno sent, blink an eye at evidence? Leno sent blink an eye about someone twice accused of cheating, asking for something that could do him no favors unless he was planning on cheating with it himself. Oh, yes. Yes, the 2 minutes that I was using to load onto my flashcard. And it's a legitimate statement and something that I've addressed. And I've already mentioned, hey, I've said it in the past already in this video. Hey, I shouldn't have done it. I wasn't thinking, and we were just trying to spitball ideas. Fuck, I was an idiot. And it shouldn't have been asked for, and we shouldn't have even suggested it. And it didn't even happen, by the way. Didn't even happen. We still got it at the same time. And my game crashed. I lost 30 minutes of progress in the 2 matches against Lenofis, and I still won. My game crashed constantly, and I still won, even while being behind by 30 minutes and having to recollect a lot of items. conveniently enough, my races against Lenofis are the shortest documented portions of the document, believe it or not. The only concern is Leno might be rightfully upset if he found out a person he knows is cheating was given the seat early. Oh, he knows I'm cheating now. Oh, okay. And maybe in his mind. I'm not going to sit here and say administrating a tournament is an easy thing to do. I've run my own events for mech construction. I have a lot of experience with it myself from that and from the people I chose to associate with. But this was so obviously italicized. Telegraphing here, I don't know how this wasn't even questioned on that front. I am aware Army withheld the VODs Leno had sent him. And even with that, I'm still confused how this doesn't set off an alarm to anyone else. We didn't stagger it. We distributed it at the same time. We were trying to think if there was even a possibility if he was cheating, if doing something like that would be even worth doing. It's literally asking a question, clueless, and Kazuto seemed to say that it's implied that I'm telling him to send it to me early. I'm not. I'm legitimately just asking a question. That's all that is I'm just trying to figure out a way how can we prevent cheating with somebody who has that that the admins think something nefarious could be going on. Literally all that was. That's all it was, and I shouldn't have even suggested it. All right, where the fuck were we? Oh, the attitude of this guy, right? Yeah. The guy who can't let himself lose, and you see that in the tournament. That final match against Army, he had been caught in the chat right before. He was up 1-0 on Army and could have given a race. Army got go mode gravity in about the worst place for Herc. He can't Army didn't get go mode gravity. Unless he's talking about match 4 against Army, which he might have. Because the second match against Army, I rewatched, and he finds gravity, but he doesn't find charge beam, and in that entire time, he's trying to go out of logic. And I said basically, I stated, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can even beat. I'm like, I got really lucky that Army was like, mutzing about in that second race, because I should have lost that race, and rightfully so. I should have lost. I know I should have, and I just was shocked. So I was saying, like, I'm acknowledging that he's good, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat him again just with how good he is. I felt that I got lucky the first 2 races, and I got lucky that he decided to basically throw by doing out of logic stuff the entire second race. So that's all that came from. But he's saying I can't lose. Dude, I was joking even before the tournament was starting that I was going to go 0-4 and just lose straight away, because I've lost in other tournaments. I've been knocked into losers bracket by dying or something, like, something stupid. And I'm no stranger to it. Losing's losing. Do I like it? Fuck no, I hate losing, because I don't like winning. I just dislike losing, and that just comes from my competitive nature. But to say that I can't accept a loss is grossly inaccurate. Like, I congratulate the winner all the time. Can I be a little bitter about something, about how the way I played? Yeah, of course I can be, because I know that there are faults in the way that I played, and I'm allowed to be upset with myself with the way I performed. But that's where it starts and ends. He can't allow himself to take a loss, perceived or real, period. He goes directly to a spot it makes no sense for a player in his position to go to in order to give himself a chance to win. I don't know about that. In one of his practices after playing Reed, he brags in his chat that he was the only player to advance to the second round without losing, with the caveat that the round wasn't finished yet. Yeah, I think I mentioned in my chat, I was like, wow, I think I'm the only person to go 2-0 against my opponent. Not like, oh man, check that out, I'm so much better, fuck everyone else. That's apparently the way he's painting it. No, I just went, I literally was probably like, that's fucking crazy. I think I'm the only one that is 2-0 and everyone else is going to a match 3 so far. Sure. After each set of army races, he makes sure to mention he's the only undefeated player in the tournament in the interviews. That's not actually brought up in that's actually a lie. I'm gonna call that out. That's a lie. That didn't actually happen after the first round of races. I didn't. That wasn't because the second round we were talking about the race and I got distracted by all the accusations. After the second race, it may have been brought up, and I was like, "Wow, I can't fucking believe it!" Like, I just kind of disbelief. But that's a lie. That I have the thing clipped, and it's in the evidence in the Fusion Discord. It's in the evidence thread, the entire interview where he claims that something was asked that wasn't, that I struggle to answer, and he's also claiming that this happened in the interview and it didn't. It's just more lies. It's more lies. Winning is what mattered to him, and the whole point of him making the tournament was so he could win it. Oh, here we fucking go, dude. He wants others to view him as a great player if it's what he feeds off of. Dude, I'm a fucking idiot. Are you kidding me? I don't give a fuck if people see me as a fucking loser, dude. I don't care. I did it for fun. I did the whole tournament for fun. I did it for the community because we hadn't done a tournament in a while, and Kazuto mentioned that there was going to be a randomizer. So I was like, let's base it on that. Let's generate hype for it. Let's celebrate this thing as a community. That's why it was put on. To say that winning is what mattered to me? No, bro. What? No. The whole point of him making this tournament was so he could win it. Bullshit. If I won it, great. Fantastic. I got damn near close. Didn't think I was. In my own prediction bracket for it, I didn't even have myself winning it. I had myself losing to Resurrent or Army, I'm pretty sure. I didn't even come close to top 4 in the winner's bracket. So, winning wasn't my priority. My priority was making sure that that the tournament was run well, and it proceeded so everyone could have a good time, dude. This is such a leap in logic that, like, it's just a speculation. This is just speculation is all it is. There's no fact here. He can't base this on anything. This is nothing but speculation. And to say it's what I feed off of, anybody that watches me knows I could give less of a fuck if I'm actually, like, seen as good. I get uncomfortable when I'm called out in like streams. Like, even though I make like tutorials and stuff like that, it's kind of uncomfortable sometimes. You're like, oh shit, I know who you are, and I'm just like, I'm just an idiot on the internet, dude. I'm fucking nobody. Like, I'm no celebrity. I'm just an idiot on the internet. You can ask anybody that has known me. That's the stance that I've taken always since like 2013, 2014, ever since I got in. Actually, yeah, no, 2012 is when I started getting involved in this. So yeah, it's basically how I've been. That's why I've treated like anybody else in the community, not like they're like some fucking celebrity or superstar. It's like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? I treat them like a normal person because they're just fucking people from the internet, dude. Some people are, get more viewers than others. Who cares? But to say that I feed off of being the best on winning a tournament, that means nothing? Incorrect. He also didn't like that his general attitude and outside behavior was in the document. Oh, so hang on. I was upset that the entire document was just a shot at my character to try to cancel me, and not actually focus on the cheating like it was supposed. Okay, he wanted to just focus on the cheating, which he could use the infinite time you've been giving him to create stories to try to explain away. Like the 6 months it took for you to create some of the lies that you created. This sentence should speak volumes. He wanted to just focus on the cheating. He wanted to focus on the cheating. Why would I want to focus on that? Why? Why would if I was guilty, why the fuck would I be like, let's focus on the thing that implicates me, huh? Let's look at these directly. Wouldn't I be like, hey, let's not look at all this. Let's look at all this character stuff that's incorrect. And at the time of not being able to review stuff, yeah, I'm like, okay, this is wrong, here's why, this is wrong, here's why. And then when I review something, I get a fucking wall of text. And I get drowned out and barked at and barked down as if I'm not allowed to present my counter evidence by the person who's accusing me. So, I'm sorry. I wanted to focus on the cheating, and I'm in the wrong for wanting to focus on the actual issue at hand? Am I understanding that right? I am in the wrong for wanting to focus on the thing that I'm being accused of. I almost feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. He didn't want his history with the Pokemon tournament and chat issue being in there. I'm very open about the Pokemon tournaments, the randomizer tournaments that I've run, and I've never once brought it up in a negative way, like, oh, that shouldn't be in here. I state that, yeah, I ran those, and yes, I'm aware that these are not things that are not allowed. I don't understand. Oh, and the chat issue being there. Yeah, no, I didn't have any issue with that, actually. I've basically already said my piece on that, but apparently wanting to focus on the actual cheating is not allowed. He didn't want his past history of knowing being in chat is wrong to be known. I've actually said the opposite. Has he done research? Has he gone back to see what I've actually said? This is all wild speculation that can be easily disproven with everything that I fucking said. Like, bro, he didn't want it pointed out. He was publicly accusing Leno of talking behind his back by sending a couple of VODs to an admin of him beelining to progression, while at the same time talks behind Leno's back and actually lies about Leno sending a mob after FPIS. Never lied. Okay, first of all, never lied about it, as he accuses me of. I've never lied about that. It's not my job to correct other people's assumptions. If somebody assumes that, the whole thing was with my exchange with myself and Ivan, which he put in his document without permission from Ivan, which is a big breach of privacy. Me saying, yeah, he's the worst, stating that, yeah, he's been pretty fucking toxic and it's been a real problem with him recently. I acknowledge that. Literally in it, I acknowledge, yeah, I know that he, that, you know, ED went to and threatened, wow, threatening is really a fucking running theme, with this group, huh? That he threatened FPIS to forfeit the match after the decision. And what was I talking about? Oh, so I acknowledge it, and then I state, yeah, he's the worst, because yeah, I'm allowed to have my own opinion. Yeah, he's being literally like pretty toxic and bringing everyone down. I didn't want it pointed out I was publicly accusing Leno. Oh, that's why I did it in public, right? Because I didn't want it pointed out that I publicly accused someone. My issue is that all of it is irrelevant. Everything that is listed beyond the cheating is grossly irrelevant to the actual cheating accusations. In a lot of cases, that's my main gripe with a lot of it. Is just it's irrelevant and doesn't need to be in there. Like, I'm allowed to go, hey, why are we talking about this if it's supposed to be about cheating? So, and I'm apparently at fault for wanting to keep it on topic. His words, not mine. Love that I'm still being accused of cheating behind my back now. If you have a problem with me, say it to me instead of talking about me behind my back, Lenofus. Yeah, I said it, and I regret it. I've already said it. I've already said that I shouldn't have handled it that way. 2 in a row, though, after being basically threatened, and this being the result after that threat. Yeah, this is me. I feel that something is wrong. I'm going to speak my mind, and I shouldn't have done it in this particular way. But I felt something needed to be said. And, you know, I'm sorry that's the way I went about it. I'm sorry if that's, you know, But something needed to be said. He tried to deny some of the stuff already. As mentioned, he doesn't want you to look at him asking for the seed early as him asking for the seed early. Well, we just discussed that. I'm not going to rehash it, but wrong. He tried to deny some stuff. I basically said, yeah, I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have done it, and we shouldn't have discussed it. But there was a reason why, and it was only a question. There was a reason why the question was asked. But this stuff is not something he can try to find some convenient excuse for. He already tried to set me up by saying he knows I'm going to continue harassing him because he knows I've been going to other communities he's in and informing them he was cheating. Standing up for integrity isn't valuable to him. His reputation and ego are, and anything that goes against that, he has to try to tear down. Wrong. This is a blatant lie. Actually, I know that he's going to continue to harass me because it's fucking 8 months later and I'm still being harassed for this shit. So I'm sorry if that's so far-fetched to think that, man, even though I can disprove all of the stuff that's being stated and show that I'm not actually cheating, I know that he's not going to, it's not going to be enough. He's not going to accept the result. So how is me saying that I know he's not going to accept whatever the decision is unless I'm banned? Because if I'm proved that I'm innocent, he's not going to accept it. He's just going to continue to harass me. That's okay. Sure. He knows I've been going to other communities he's in and informing them he was cheating. Let's not forget MST threw a hissy fit in the staff discussion channel when I shared it with my Discord after he had shared it with other communities. Right for thee, but not for me. So he was allowed to go and spread these lies without it being resolved within the community that he apparently cares so much about. He doesn't. And I'm not allowed to go to my community, my private Discord, and go, can you believe this? He actually wrote a 72-page document with actual lies and be like, I can't believe this happened. Yet I'm the one that was told you can't share and you can't go around sharing this until a decision is made. And I had to agree to that even though he had already sent it to other communities. And I've actually know some of the people that he sent the document to, and they either didn't care or looked at it and went, are you fucking kidding me? So, okay. Sure, dude. You can inform whoever you want, but you're spreading libel. You're spreading false statements and passing them as true. There are other issues here that delaying any action is going to create. The longer you wait, the more problems down the road you will have. Please enlighten me. You didn't catch it as it was happening, which, while extremely bad, at least you had the reason you weren't familiar with how to do a proper investigation. At least you had the reason you weren't familiar with how to do a proper investigation. Talking shit on the admins, that's a good strategy. Also saying that that their job at catching something that wasn't happening is extremely bad. Okay, but you are repeating that event right now by sitting around and doing nothing, by letting him gather counter evidence and busy life. Okay, this, by the way, was written after I said that I haven't had time to look at it recently because I've been busy with work and travel. This happened days later. This is how this turned into such a big disaster in the first place, and you're repeating it here. If it helps at all, Fusion Rando has already made the decision. He's banned for cheating. Oh. Who made the decision, though? Who even is in charge of that? I'd love to know. There isn't a question about that. What did he put in the races is not something a legitimate player will do. Oh. Okay. Not biased in any way. He lied about it with main deck. I don't think I lied. I think I was speaking in hyperbole, probably. I wouldn't say it's an outright lie. Tried to cover that lie by doing main deck early, immediately after he lied about it. I don't think there's any reference to that, though. I don't think there's ever been anything specifically stated with him saying, oh, he claimed that he does main deck first and then immediately tried to do it. This is a new one. This is new. He's not welcome, and he's not going to be welcome in Fusion Rando again. Okay, well, let's see. Document goes public. Document goes public on this hand. All of the community sees all of the bullshit and calls out on it, and he's quiet. I'm not welcome. Who's running the community? Most of the people in that community got there because they watched my content. I'm not welcome? That's fine. I don't want to be a part of that anyway. After if abusers are going to be running the community, I want no part of that. Thank you. No, thank you. You have a known cheater as an admin. Oh, this suggests that I've been known to cheat in the past prior to all this. That's not true. In a speedrunning server and as someone who verifies runs, yes, I do verify runs. I watch front to back. I watch the entire thing to check for splicing, anything that's out of the ordinary, anything that's sped up. I go through and I check every little last thing to make sure that nothing is admitted to the leaderboards that has been cheated. I say, like, okay, this seems to imply that I'm cheating in my speed runs now, which is not the fucking case. There's no evidence for that, and there never will be because it doesn't happen. I encourage anybody that watches this, please go back through my runs, all of them. Tell me if I'm cheating, please. Do audio, do the audio shit. Where you the audio waveforms, where you can see if there's an actual splice, if there's a gap in the audio. Tell me if there is, if I'm splicing, please, because I'm not. I really am not. He's fine with people in his server being okay with him cheating. No, not true. I've actually stated that I really don't want people to support me just because it's me. I've stated that many times, and I can grab a screenshot. Friday, hey Friday, shout outs to you. Friday is one I know specifically that stated they didn't care if he cheated. That's not an attitude as an admin should be allowed to take. It's not an attitude an admin should be allowed to take. Friday's not an admin. I also have taken the stance, and I've made it repeatedly known that I do not agree with that stance, where people state that, oh, because it's Herc, I don't think he did it, just because of who he is. No, I've always pushed for investigations. I pushed for the very fucking first investigation. I was the one who wanted it investigated. I don't know what the fuck MST, whatever you're smoking, man, pass it over. I don't allow it in my chat. Cheating is never okay, but you have this guy as admin. Okay, so now you're just repeating what I'm saying now. Sure. On the other hand, from fucking who knows, from April. On the other hand, check this out from Feisy _ I don't even, okay, first of all, this isn't even a direct, I can't even tell if this is a direct quote. It's not even a screenshot. I don't know if they're talking about Fry or Friday, with Fysi, Feisy. I don't know what this is. I don't even know if this is even admissible to anything that's, because this could just be bullshit because we don't know who the fuck is writing this. I really don't. Denying proofs and joking people's work is very sad in my opinion. Here we all love Herc and there's no discussion about this, but since I like to put myself in other perspectives, MST has all the rights to do what he did. Now it's up to Herc to defend and counterproof. The problem is that he really can't deny some of the accusations because no one was there, so he has no witnesses. Yeah, very true. And I agree. I agree that MST has, you know, he's well within his rights to bring this up. To bring up legitimate concerns, not to lie in a 72-page document. I'm biased, and even if Herc cheated, I would still think the same about him because I really do care about him and gave me a lot of entertainment. He might be talking about Fry, not Friday. He actually might just be getting this wrong because he just has no fucking clue what's going on. But I repeat, let me look this up. Let me see who he's talking about, because this should be in the Discord. All right, let's see. Denying proofs and joking people's work. Search. Nothing. Nothing. Holy shit, dude. He fucking can't even get it all right. Wow. Wasn't even Friday, wasn't even Fry. He doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. It wasn't even any of them. It was fucking FPIZ that stated denying proofs and joking people's work is very sad. Holy shit, dude. But I repeat that they have all the rights to be suspicious and put all of their concerns in such a detailed text. Yeah, I agree. I agree. This is obviously somebody who's in my Discord. Who doesn't want to be known, but apparently the MST doesn't give a fuck that it could be pretty fucking easily inferred based on who it was. Just based on how short the name is. There's a rat. Who cares? It doesn't fucking matter. Might be quote. That might just be quote, actually, because he went through in my Discord. Who knows? Then we can surely talk of how psychotic they are because they also banned him without an official verdict, but that's another matter. I hope I explained myself. I'm not here to accuse anyone, and I don't want people to argue, create beefs, and lose friendships because of this. It's a very sensible thing to say, honestly. And yeah, he's right. MSD is within his rights to bring up legitimate concerns, but not lies. I realize you've been friends with him and has brought a lot of people into the community. His tutorial has helped people. In fact, people on the server somehow like him. Oh, somehow. Okay. Maybe because I'm a genuine person and I'm not a piece of shit. I say somehow because I have yet to find anyone outside of the Fusion server that can stand the guy. Sources. Give me sources. You can't just claim this. You're making claims without substantiating it. Give me sources. He was caught in chat because someone felt he was the type of person who would be he was caught in chat because someone felt he was the type of person who would both cheat and be dumb enough to be in chat. From what I recall from the admin channel, the person that actually brought up the claims wasn't Lenofis. It was actually a third party. It was actually somebody who wasn't even involved with the community, if I remember correctly. So the admins couldn't name by name because the only thing that they knew is that it was brought up by somebody other than Lenofis. But apparently I'm dumb enough to be in chat. Okay. Yep. Why the fuck why would I be in chat on my main account? How fucking stupid. Both Kazuto and I came across people in our investigation who with very minimal interaction with the guy were also not at all surprised he was cheating. Sources, you need sources. You're making claims. You can't substantiate. Can't substantiate these claims without sources. You're just talking out your ass, basically. Meanwhile, I've been completely transparent, pulling up actual fucking quotes. Bottom line is, the longer you wait to do anything, the weaker your position will become, and the more problems you will face in the future. You've stated this twice. State the consequences, please. You already have Herc handing out the document when he knew he wasn't supposed to. That's actually not true. Not true at all. It was never stated that you're not allowed to spread. You're not allowed to show this to anybody else. It also is the pot calling the kettle black because you were spreading this document before a fucking week before I ever got it. I know somebody who got this document on March 30th. I never even got the document until fucking April 12th. But I'm the one who's saying, but I'm the one who apparently knew I wasn't supposed to. Nowhere in there was it ever stated that you're not to share this document until after, and especially coming from the person who shared the document. Dude, come on. He's done nothing but deflect and lay blame elsewhere and argue against actual facts against him without really responding to anything related to the cheating. Not true, actually. I did, and then I was drowned out because you didn't like what I had to say for calling you out on your lies. I seriously doubt that TV was his idea. Accusing Leno of cheating was also not his original idea. I never originally accused him, actually. Funnily enough, it was Army, I think, who came to me and stated that it was super suspicious and they were trying to figure out how, like, if they was cheating. I've also accepted blame and I've owned up to shit that I know that I fucked up on. This is all wrong. This is all wrong. Kazuto literally said he's putting blah, 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 blah. I think it's still private as this is sorted through. Yeah, I think. I have no idea. I say I think. I say technically because I have no idea. More I go through, I go through, and the more I call out their bullshit, will end up being public to try and silence me. Yeah. Well, believe it or not, it went public, and guess what? Everyone else called them out on their bullshit. I didn't even have to. They literally, the people that reviewed it, that did a peer review. Funny how when it was peer reviewed, people were calling out a lot of the inaccuracies of the statements. A lot. And I was like just going through the matches to fucking get rid of the cheating claim to clear my name because that was what was important to me. It's bananas that this is the document that was brought forward after over 6 months of work. Oh, yeah, it was bananas. There was typos. It was poorly written. There's a bunch of fluff in there. There's lies. There's inaccuracies. There's shit that like it just appeals to so many logical fallacies. The most of which, mostly, it be appealing to just ignorance. Okay, this is taking way too long. Yeah, no shit, dude. He should never have been given more than a week, and quite frankly, he should have at minimum been informed he was being removed from any position in the community because he was cheating without any input from him. You gave me a 72-page document with hours of footage to review and heinous claims, and I was only supposed to fit this in with a week. To bring in counter evidence, to go through and put context where your document is missing stuff, a week? That is... You know, I don't know if you know this, but this is a hobby for 95% of people. This isn't their entire life. And sometimes people work it in when they can. And that's where I'm at right now, where this is a hobby and I try to work it in where I can. I've got a very busy life and I couldn't drop planned travel and other things that I had committed to all at once so I could sit for an entire week. I couldn't say, especially work. I was supposed to take a week off from work so I could sit here and review all of your lies and just to review things that to make you happy. I don't know what he was hoping for. The evidence against him had other TAs wanting to get the tournament removed from SG as it was ongoing. Important to note, when he says that, he means people from other communities that weren't involved in any of this. People who were his friends that he was lying about me to. Yeah, what a shock. This was one of the single most obvious examples of cheating in existence. Bro, I don't know, man. This reeks of watching too much Carl Jobst and like trying to get me in like a gotcha with like fake come on, man. You've watched too much Carl Jobst. Again, I know he means something to you in the community, but this is where you need to take your stand against cheating. I've taken a stand against cheating the entire time that I've been within the speedrunning community. And I don't tolerate it. You need to make an example and you need to stop tolerating it. Oh, okay. Herc is not your friend. Bold claim. Bold claim. I'm more of a friend to everyone in that Discord than you are, friend. He's been lying to you, cheating against you, and using you for his own gain. What? I don't know how. How would I use the community for my own gain? What? Stop approaching this as if he's your friend and is someone important to the community. Approach it as you have a cheater right in front of you. Again, I want to emphasize that anytime that basically I was told that anybody in the community cannot be a witness to my character because they're too biased apparently towards me, and that they would just do nothing but cover for me, and just make excuses and cover me for like cheating. And I'm pretty sure if I've known people for 10 years, they have a very accurate assessment of me and my values and who I am as a person. So I can't understand, other than I can't understand not wanting to speak to those people, but you speak to the people that don't even know me. You lie about them. You lie about me to them. And then they're not surprised without them knowing me. So you'll use that as admissible as like some concrete proof, but you can't be bothered to ask the people that have literally known me for more than 5 years. I can't fault anybody for the admins for approaching this as they did. I mean, they see me as somebody who's important to the community, and they can see me as a friend because I've been a friend. I've been their friend they've been my friends for years. I've shared GDQ hotel rooms with these people. I've hung out with hours of my life with these people, like talking and bullshitting and like. Here we go. Here's the threat. I'm giving you the rest of the week. If you don't have things done by Sunday, May 15th, I'm washing my hands of this and going to speed gaming. Plenty of time has already passed for him to actually respond. And again, this didn't need a reply from him. Any other community, this is open shut, and it's been handled in the Metroid Fusion open randomizer community as such. Okay, so he's openly admitting that he didn't want me to review the document to be able to call him out on everything that he's lying about in the document. He doesn't want me to have a voice in all of this. And it doesn't, any other community, this is open and shut, and it was handled in the Metroid Fusion open randomizer community as such. Right, because the open randomizer community didn't do an investigation. They didn't investigate. They didn't check your bullshit. You were probably the head of it. You probably manipulated the entire situation. This is all speculation, but I can only assume based on your threats to the admins of a fucking community that you have no part in. No part in. He's already blocked. He's blocked all of the admins from his fucking Twitch channel, dude. What? You're gonna say that there's no need to reply? Okay, so you expect everyone to read the cliff notes and just take you at face value? You don't want somebody calling you out, is what he's saying. Please don't prove me wrong. Please don't call me out for my lies. There's only one way he should even be allowed to stay in the server, and that's if he admits to cheating and apologizes to the server. If he doesn't do that, allowing him to remain would be akin to allowing a cancerous growth to sit in your community. I'll remember this for when I've cleared my name. And your gaslighting and threatening is on trial. Because that is also on trial now. You already have people stating they don't care about cheating because they like the guy. I care about that. I don't like that. I've always told people that's not the right way to think about it. And he's fine with that. I've literally fucking never said I was fine with that.
Dude, you put all these fucking screenshots in here of things that I've said. Why is there no screenshot of me saying that I'm okay with that? You want to know why? It's because I never fucking said it. I've actually said the opposite, dude. Come the fuck on. Stop making claims. Stop making claims that I've said these things with nothing to back it up. Like, come on, dude. Everything that I've said in all of this for the past week, I've come with evidence. Things that people have said, written things that have been said, written with fucking. I've been transparent in everything. Why is it that this is making claims with no evidence? You can't even fucking find where I say it because it's never said. I'm never okay with that. This is absurd. This is so fucking obvious. Like, the threatening to go over their heads to get the community blacklisted. Like, you'd be allowing to sit in your you'd be allowing that to sit in your speedrunning server, and anyone who defends him will have more ammunition because you did a half measure and didn't fully commit to what needed to be done. I am the fucking only one that has been wanting a full investigation since these started. I was the one that pushed for it. I was the one that pushed for the investigations. I even asked for time. I said, I'm going to, where the fuck is that screenshot? Where the fuck are the screenshots? Where are they? I know I have them somewhere. Oh, you know what? I don't fucking have them. They're in the Discord somewhere. Shit. Ah, damn it. I can't fucking put, whatever. I'll find them. I'll fucking find them. Here's the thing. Anyone who defends him will have more ammunition because you did a half measure and didn't fully commit to what needed to be done. The people that voted on this to have me banned didn't even fully review everything that was being alleged. They took the notes at face value. They didn't go by, and they were like, I was given a month with real life events going on to get everything, to review everything. The fucking people in the admins, they didn't even have time to review everything. But he wants a decision made and he doesn't want a half measure. He doesn't even want me reviewing the document. He doesn't want anybody reviewing the document. He's literally stating as much. Oh, he should have only been given a week. He shouldn't have been involved in this in the first place to even be able to review this. You're telling me I'm being accused of something and I have no opportunity to say, yeah, that's not true? Really? That sounds to me like you're hiding something, bro. I'm giving you a little more time, but stop doing nothing. Stop putting the community first. Stop putting the community first. Oh, start putting the community first. I think they are. You are on a deadline, and you need to be pushing the discussion to figure anything out you want before then. This is why I was so taken back. This happened in a private DM with the admins where he threatened the admins. This was not done in public. How fucking could he? How could he do this in front of me, where I would call him out like, are you literally threatening the admins? I fucking called him out for it in public in front of the entire Discord. And he not only stated like that, yeah, he did. He also was like belittling everybody in the Discord. After that, like he took on such a smug stance. I can't understand the logic or the anything about what's happening. It doesn't make sense to me. Start putting the community first. They didn't want to rush decision. They didn't want to rush decision with, a document that hasn't been fully reviewed with no counter evidence. They've stated that they wanted to take their time, that they wanted to do a thorough investigation. You're the one not allowing that, MST, Kazuto. You two are the ones not allowing that. You are on a deadline. The accusers are the ones They're not even a part of the community. They're the ones making demands now. They're threatening the admins by going over their heads to go to speed gaming, to have the entire community blacklisted because of something that they have a vendetta out for somebody. Fusion isn't my community. No shit. It's yours. Bro, this sentence could not be more obvious. I should not be the one to be pushing this forward. Kazuto isn't the one pushing it forward. We've handled the situation and okay, so it's those two. No investigation was done. The investigation was, trust me, bro. They had nobody, they had no independent third party look at this to call them out on their shit. They just were like, yeah, we run shit, banned in a server that no one knows about. We've handled the situation in MFOR already. You guys are the admins and moderators of the Fusion community. This isn't a fun job, but it's yours and you need to start handling it. You're right. You're right, MST. It's not a job. It's a hobby. It's a hobby for everybody, for a lot of people. It's a hobby. And they're volunteering their time. And who the fuck are you? Who are you? Who are you? To make threats, to blackmail, to gaslight these individuals who are doing this as a hobby because you want a decision and something isn't moving fast enough for your schedule? Who the fuck are you to do this to other people, to abuse other people? You're an abuser. You're a manipulative abuser, and you've been manipulating this entire situation and abusing the admins so blatantly. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable in any community. It's unacceptable in any community. And any community that harbors or fosters this type of behavior, I want no part of. Like, this is inexcusable. This is reprehensible behavior. And there should be nobody that supports this type of behavior. It's unacceptable. To go to a community and to gaslight and abuse these individuals and to say this isn't a fun job, this isn't my community. Yeah, it's not a job. It's a fucking hobby, bro. If any of you need me to explain any of the evidence, yeah, if you need me to explain it to you or explain how to research in a rando, I'll be around. I'll hop on a call or whatever. I'm not extending my deadline to do that, however. You are nobody. You are nobody to be making these claims. I'm sorry, but you're nobody to be making these claims. What, you're a group of 15 people who you've been doing randos for 7 years? I've been doing randos for fucking like 7-8 years, pal. Okay, what? I don't give a fuck about you. Who's your friends? One of your buddies has a 255 page document out against them right now, from what I understand, for being an abuser. So I haven't read it. I can't make a claim, but this is just what I'm told. But and Lenofis, your friend, so two people now are abusers. Lenofis openly like threatened me and was trying to manipulate me. It seems like a running thread, and nobody's willing to call them out on this behavior. And I'm apparently the only person willing to call this out on this behavior. As soon as I called out their threatening, the admins of the Fusion community called it gaslighting, blackmail, abuse, like that. When I called them out on it, and they openly admitted to it. They openly claimed that he blackmailed, that he threatened, that he abused. The fact that it was admitted to. Where's my tweet? Where is my tweet? Oh, Druid's getting involved. Good. I like Druid. He's a sensible individual. There's the text wall. Let's see. Where's my tweet? Nope, that's not it. Let me pull the exact things that were said. Let me pull the exact damn things. I know I shared them. Where are they? Come on. Damn, I really didn't think they were that far back. All right. I'll just search for Twitter. I like that QWERTY is siding with his friend here, not having read the document. A literal cheater gets banned, and a bunch of piss babies are pissing and shitting all over the floor in protest. Classic. Yo, dude, are you fucking? I mean, I know you're like you didn't fucking look at any of the document. You're just trying to support your friend. What the fuck? A bunch of evidence. There's no evidence though. Like, you're claiming ridiculous shit, dude. Could you fucking imagine being that blind? And like, holy shit, dude. It's incredible. Where the fuck is it? I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find the direct quotes of what exactly he said. Come on. Here it is. Nope. Here we go. Please load. Okay, here we go. Shy Guy. Going to SG was the last resort to be used. It's not their job to police speedrun communities. And I said, after that, I said, and you threatened the admins and gave them a deadline that was to your liking because you felt I wasn't moving fast enough, even though I have a busy life. Even though I asked for patience and made it known it was going to be hard to work in immediately. This was his response. If they voted to remove you after not confirming or being convinced you cheated, that's on them. If they felt you were innocent or there wasn't enough, they can explain it to speed gaming. I, for one, am absolutely convinced you cheated. And if things don't get handled within this community, there is no other recourse but to go to speed gaming and ask they blacklist the server from hosting events on their channel. Meaning MST gave the admins a deadline before he was going to take further action. And quite frankly, a month is an extraordinarily long amount of time in something like this. The allegation started after the match between Leno and FPiz, where Leno states, "You motivated me. Me winning is no longer enough. It took me, Tupto, it took me almost 3 hours to review one match. A month is nothing." Tupto reviewed one match, and it took him 3 hours. Oh, this smug reply. I apologize. I forgot only one person here has a life. Oh yeah. That would be only if they find he cheated themselves, no? And he said correct. So basically, if they didn't find in his favor, he was still going to speed gaming to get our community blacklisted with his lies. And hey, guess what? I've gone to speed gaming and I've given the rundown that this individual and that this group of individuals has basically abused the Fusion admins and threatened them and blackmailed them. I've provided the proof. Said both you and Leno would then continue to make allegations against me in every race I did. These situations are usually handled extremely fast. After reviewing, the admins either decide to ban, remove, or there isn't enough evidence and dismiss. Well, that's what the fuck happened, and then you kept pushing. But keep an eye out in the future if suspicious behavior is present. It doesn't take a month for a team to look through and verify. They fucking did. But they did though. They fucking say they went on their own. Oh my God. You living on a different planet? Like, are you living in a different world than us? I don't get it. What? Bro, you casually admit, and you literally said if they didn't find in my favor, I'm going to speed gaming anyway to get the entire server blacklisted. Oh yeah? And you think you're gonna garner support within the community that you're not a part of by saying find in my favor or you all suffer, to something that's obviously it's clearly at this point something that's like a personal vendetta. I don't know, man. I'm going to be going through the races. I'm going to be going through them. I've gone through at least 6 or 7 of them already. And believe it or not a whole lot there. And believe it or not, people that are actually doing the independent viewings have not found much either. I'm gonna review them, and I'm gonna go back through and double check to make sure, and to go over everything again. And so are independent parties. But this is what was sent to the admins. This is why there was a rushed decision. A threat. Speed Gaming already knows. Speed Gaming is already aware of the threat, of the threatening nature that basically forced their hand. This shouldn't be allowed in any community in speedrunning. It's sick. It's sick. But this video went on for longer than I expected, unfortunately. Kind of like this document. But I have to go through and explain away all these lies that just pages of speculation. Like, I don't get it. That's not how I started. That's also a lie. That's not how I started. I already showed how it started. For somebody who loves twisting shit, and he's getting mad that I say that he's twisting shit. Literally fucking 6 lines down, I tell him that he's twisting everything that I've said. And he's trying to say that, oh, well, he's mad that he thinks I'm just twisting what he said. You're doing it right there. Right there. That's not even how it started, bro. I showed how it started. You love claiming these specific things, but you can't do it anywhere else in the document where you're making these claims of where I say things. That's a big problem. That's a massive problem. And I've been completely transparent in the things that I've said. Things that I know that I've said, like, oh yeah, that's not, I shouldn't have done that, or yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. Like, what? Yeah, it sucks because I was gonna review Read Theory versus Myself match 1, but yeah, this went on for fucking 3 hours longer than I expected it to. So okay, yeah, this is what I uncovered in the past week of since I was shadow banned and then the ban lifted. And the admins, especially after he threatened the entire server, the admins are kind of like, yeah, we're gonna see where this goes. There's 2 things here that we're gonna have to discuss. The clearing of Herc, of his cheating accusations, and the claims of threatening, gaslighting, and everything else. So it's very telling that after that, in that thread, after he said a lot of that stuff, he left the thread and he blocked all of the Fusion admins on Twitch from his channel. So, yeah. There's your Fusion admin script /deadline.pdf document for you. So, yeah, the next video that goes up will probably be videos of me starting to review live and on video the races and the things that the document alleges. So
Thanks for watching, everybody. Take it easy. Stay healthy. And watch out for that dang coronavirus. Take it easy, everybody.